Probably not. So I think we're streaming in 720p with a lower bit rate.
How many frames, Cole?
I don't know. I mean, it should be 30, I would expect. Wait until this ad plays to see if
I'm watching a PlayStation ad.
Oh boy. I mean, at least how I'm looking at it on here, it looks pretty good.
I don't sound good.
I'm sure you sound terrible coming over the phone, yeah.
I do sound terrible.
I want to hear you. I'm turning the volume up.
I do. Oh, look at that. That's so...
I want to hear you. I'm turning the volume up.
I do. Oh, look at that. That's so...
It's actually not that far behind. I'm like I'm trying to like mute the microphone to see if, like, when I say stuff. Just give me a second. Jordan, talk for a second.
This is me talking, and I'm talking.
Excellent. All right.
I'm sorry.
Yes, great. Talk for a second.
This is me talking, and I'm talking.
Excellent. All right.
I'm sorry.
Yes, great. Talk for a second.
This is me talking. I don't think you can have audio playing on your computer if the stream is.
I know. That's why I muted the microphone while I like listened to it so that it wouldn't like horribly echo through. As if anyone's watching.
Smart guy Cole over here.
Yeah. No, but this looks a lot better. I think also just like the frame rate in Unity and stuff is a lot better. Not to mention we're running occlusion culling now, so there's also that to think about. Whereas we weren't before, so the frame rate was terrible in-game as it was, so that was, like, expensive on the CPU like it was. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, let's get that trash out of here. I wish they would stop watching anime in the other room. Let's get rid of all this junk. So that's really interesting. Occlusion culling physically doesn't have a problem there. I wonder if it has, you know, my expectation would be maybe it has something to do with the fact that everything's like below the terrain, but I don't know if that's the case, especially because the closet that's messing up isn't. You know what it might be? What if one of the chunk managing chunks, what if some of the chunk managing chunks are not on an ignore raycast layer? Oh my god. I think that's the solution.
Oh, so it was a Cole problem after all.
Well, I mean, there are other things that are still Jordan problems. Like, I still have to make, like, the fence, like, or not the fence, although, yes, fix the fence, Jordan. I still have to make, like, stuff. Okay, what the hell? Oh, that's because I didn't rebake. Let me...
Oh, bake.
I think I have to... Yeah, I just have to rebake. Tell me if the stream gets terrible when I bake this again, because I know that's an intensive process.
Well, you say that, it just started buffering.
Did it really?
It's done now.
I'm watching it on mine. It looks actually pretty fine, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think.
No, it's super really good right now.
Oh, I saw a little bit of buffering too, yeah. I mean, if it backs up a little bit just to get the bits in, that's fine with me. But, like, I just don't want my CPU to be, like, going terrible. And I'm not throttling like I was before either, so that's good.
No, never. Of course not.
Alright, You're using a lot of my memory, though. I'll let you know.
Oh, that's me every day of my life. All 12 megadoodles.
I don't think you understand how this works. Well, I closed one thing. Closed an empty Google Chrome window. Maybe that'll...
takes up a lot, especially when you have 4 tabs.
I bet you that was the whole problem. Let's go find out, shall we?
What?
I bet
Oh,
you
yeah,
that the whole
I thought we were
occlusion.
still talking about Chrome. I was like,
No.
what?
No, Chrome can. Whatever. I don't know why the roof was doing its thing where it was loading in, or
By the way,
I don't
I'm sorry
see it.
about that little thing in the wall. It actually doesn't even need to be there. It could be deleted.
What, the one poking out?
Yeah, I did. I think I overlooked it.
Oops.
I mean, there's so many things in this house.
Oh, you know what? It's I know what it is, because the roof should be doing its dumb thing.
I'm the floor.
I just there we go. I think the roof should be like loading in periodically because of my chunks are bad. Yeah. Okay. I expected that to happen. What?
What happened?
What?
Oh,
yeah.
where'd it go?
This is what it's been looking like. That's really strange. I wonder if... Well, no, that probably isn't the problem, actually. I mean, like, they need to be on an ignore raycast layer. But I wonder if... Because they're not geometry. Or they don't have, like, renderers.
What if you just...
My mom happened. I have returned. Okay, that's not okay. Actually, that was really weird. Why did that happen?
What?
Just look on the stream.
Oh, I see the terrain went away through, or the floor.
Why? Sometimes things just... I don't understand.
How's it calculating what should be cold?
I don't know. I didn't
it's not
write it.
100% accurate from what I can see.
Well, you're right about that.
Is there a way to tweak it?
Yeah, I mean, I keep punching different settings into it. I'll keep messing with that. Yeah, same problems here in the basement. So actually, yeah, I mean, it was good to put those chunks on an ignore raycast layer, but they're not geometry. They're not, like, rendered geometry, so they're not the thing interfering with that. So what could it be? Other than just occlusion culling baking wrong, I guess. Back face threshold. We'll set the default parameters again. We did that yesterday. Well, I'll try it again because this is a different problem. And just see if it completely wrecks everything. It might do a little bit of buffering right now because my CPU is maxing out.
Why is the game development so hard? Ethan ever text you back?
Of course not.
He's still playing Borderlands 2, I bet. Cool. How much are you willing to bet that he's currently in a game on Steam? It's probably either Brawlhalla or Borderlands 2. I'm gonna go find out. He's playing Borderlands 2.
Oh boy. Yeah, that throttled my CPU, seriously. Like, I think whenever I bake, it's gonna do that, you know? Alright, let's see.
You should look into limiting how much Unity can use, so it takes longer, but doesn't kill everything.
That would be good. Yeah, I can tell already, I think, that...
There's like a preferences tab under, like, the top settings bar in Unity where you can limit how much it can use. Some programs have that,
I
like
don't
graphic
know.
design programs have that often.
I'll have to look into that. Well, I don't know if it's as terrible. I don't get it. I just don't understand. To Google. Away. What?
Save me, other people of the internet.
Yes.
My incompetence just failed me yet again. Think about it this way, Cole. Whenever we hopefully maybe solve the problem, we'll know for next time, maybe.
Maybe. You know, I'm gonna move the CJ Studios thing up in the interface because it looks stupid right there. Watch on stream, it'll change.
Hello.
That's awesome that you can just change it in real time like that.
Shit, I mean, if someone's watching Netflix in the other room, they're using download bandwidth. Does that even affect upload bandwidth?
Yeah, I would expect it to.
Interesting. That's a shame. I mean, you do have 80,000 per second, though. I mean, what was it, like 50 megabits or something?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
That's like 10 times what you need to stream. Like minimum. You should be able to stream high quality if your CPU wasn't also using Unity to bake things. I mean, even when you're not baking things, it's using a lot.
Oh boy, CryEngine.
So if you were streaming like TF2, you could probably stream in a high resolution.
Yeah,
That's...
I would imagine. Yeah, and definitely if we can find a way to limit Unity's performance, because baking just nukes it.
Nuke me up inside.
Yep. Cameras culling terrain objects, blah blah blah.
I'm having a moment of my own right now.
It was the grass texture that comes with the terrain assets pack, blah blah blah. The solution itself is to lead to both instances of the texture and the terrain and just add one. I'm thinking that a copy of the asset would probably allow for a second version, but I haven't tried. If anything, confirm any of this. Reported as a problem. Some people are saying there might be problems with the occlusion culling system, which would be very, very, very bad.
What if we made our own occlusion?
It's physically possible, but, like, no. I mean, like, if we have to, maybe. But, like, please no. So I have complex levels. This is my first blah, 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 blah. The occlusion culling bake far plane does not have any actual relationship to the camera's far plane. It will just cause the over occlusion system to cull out objects that are far away. I don't think it'll have any substantial effect on your bake times or memory usage unless you actually have objects that are more than 1,500 meters apart. Cool. Thanks, Super Pig.
That guy below had us a real classy avatar.
What, the... Which one?
The one one below. Yeah, well, yeah.
It's not in real time, Jordan. You gotta tell me
I
what's going
know,
on.
but it's delayed more than it was like a second delay. Now it's like 30-second delay because of the 2 baking instances.
Yes.
I can refresh the stream and probably fix it though. It's the guy who isn't the main guy, the guy who's replying. Super Pig has a
Super Pig.
I'm gonna refresh.
I did tooltip that doesn't match the camera. You get blah 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 blah. Okay. I don't know what to do.
Do you want a Predator Helios 300 for Amazon for only $1,049?
Stop talking to me.
Intel i7.
Okay, what if we take the house out from under the thing that's, like, glitching? And why don't I also move my troller to, like, a relevant position? Because this is annoying.
Is an i7 processor really that big of a deal? Because I feel like
Generally, no.
Every Intel at commercials, like, we have i7s, oh! And
they're really not that big of a difference at all.
Like, every single Intel advertisement video I've ever seen has made such a huge deal about the fact that they have i7s. And I'm like, is it really that?
Stop. Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. Like, they're nicer, but the $100 increase in price, sometimes more if you're shopping for, like, laptops and stuff, is not generally worth it. I got one in my laptop hoping that it would just come with better integrated graphics, but I was gravely mistaken.
As a 3D artist who works in his bedroom, I would never be caught dead buying a laptop.
But you are handed laptops that you tend to lose.
I'm occasionally handed laptops.
Jordan, you lost my laptop. You literally... How do you lose a laptop?
My dad used it for work, I think. It's home somewhere. Like, I didn't misplace it. He, like, asked if he could use it for something. I was like, I'm not using it right now, so go ahead.
I'm having difficulty even separating these objects from the terrain at all. Maybe it has something to do with the fact that they're in a group. I doubt it, but let's try it anyway.
Oh, what? How do we have 2 followers? Who's the second?
Is this the whole... What the heck is this? Jeez. That's a lot of stuff in one group. It doesn't even seem right. Did I mess something up?
Mr. Cole.
I did.
I will tell you.
What?
He may have not replied to your text, but he did follow us on Twitch.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Oh, very nice.
Followed us after the stream. That's why we didn't get a notification. But
I am totally fine with that.
My headphones keep sliding off my face. Ah!
Well, explain what the noise was about, please. Oh, wait, what? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm a whole 2, count them 2 marshmallows.
You need to stop.
I just now heard the scream in my ear.
You're actually listening to the stream that you're on.
Yeah, through headphones.
Great.
It is great.
That's fantastic, Jordan. Okay. Taking it out of a group. We have to bake again. Oh boy, my favorite.
Oh, hello, sweet buffering.
Let's see. Let me look up real quick if I can limit unities. Limit unity CPU.
Like, you go to like File, and there's a Preferences tab up there. A lot of programs have that.
Limit editor maximum CPU usage.
I know that's often graphical design programs have those because they can be intensive when it comes to using stuff. it's fun to watch the little number occasionally pop up to 3 and then like 4 seconds later drop down to 2. I think that's great.
In XP, oh boy.
You're in the mansion, so I can't put it when I'm done, but I could maybe put in the prison stuff.
Let me see if I can just go to Unity, like in Task Manager, and like...
Oh boy, do that.
Ah! And like set priority or something. Oh my gosh, I have to do it on all of them. I don't even... That's terrible. Well, I'll figure out which ones... I'll start the bake and I'll figure out which one's like throttling it, and then I'll try to limit that one. Neato, blowrito. I'm sorry. Alright, here we go, we're baking. Oops, how do I thought you could limit, like...
Wait, buffering, there you are.
I thought you could limit a task's, like, priority. Maybe I can go to details. Set priority. Low. Change priority. Please don't explode. Yeah, the same stuff.
They have it built into the program itself. Like, I think...
I don't think it's in Unity, though.
I think, like, a lot of all the Adobe programs can at least let you limit how much memory it uses, because it tends to use a lot of memory.
Right.
So I think you can at least limit how much it uses for that. I don't know, like, how much it, can, like, limit without it sucking, but...
Oh boy, nothing. Load previous project on startup. No. Why am I reading all these? Show assets, verify saving. Yeah. I don't see anything related to... Unity doesn't have a lot of preferences, actually. Okay, Occlusion Culling might be messed up for this room, but I don't care if it is.
Write a letter to your local Unity dev representative and ask them to add more optimization features.
What did I change? Oh, so I just ungrouped this. That was not the solution.
Text add optimization to 4081.
Jordan.
To cast your vote.
To cast your vote. Skip the line and vote from home. That's not a thing. That's not a thing.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
It's funny though.
It's kind of funny. It's a little funny.
It's funny and sad.
It's funny and sad, yes. Alright, so... I should change that little message, because our stream quality, like, we know is acceptable now, so I'm gonna change that little message so that it doesn't just say, we're still testing.
Hey Cole, I have an idea.
What?
I'm gonna spam the follow button.
Please don't, Jordan.
No, I would never. Why would I do that?
Exactly. We're testing to see if we're streaming, blah blah blah.
Uh-oh, there he goes. I am so confused. sounded kind of... didn't care.
For what?
Yeah, you said okay, and I kind of got the feeling that you didn't care about me.
About what did you say?
I said, I am so confused, and then you said, okay.
I probably wasn't even talking about you.
Oh, wow. Further proving my point.
Why are you suddenly being like this?
Well, I'm a human being, and I have feelings.
Good. Let's see if we take the walls out from the room, if everything's still terrible. Alright, we're baking, guys. Deploy! Is there anyone else in the stream, Jordan?
Well, it says 2, and that could be you and me.
But I feel like the view count thing has gone up.
I mean, I just said it a while ago, it goes up to 3 occasionally. So the average is like 2.2.
Wait, you mean you've seen it do it, like, go up in this stream?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you want me to like use a party thing and like go whoa every time it happens? Because I can do that.
I just want to know if someone's there so that we can be like, oh hi, you know.
You can set up. I don't think Streamlabs can do it, but there's like an alternative, additional plugin you can get that like makes a ding sound every time a new viewer joins, so that. Yeah, I don't think there's any way to, like, have it display on the stream or anything. But I think you can have, like, a little sound effect go ding every time someone joins. So you can be like, oh, hi, no, gozaimasu.
I baked the whole thing, right? Do you see this? So you'll see it on stream in a second. There's, like, other things that, if I disable the walls, are actually, like, kind of blinking in and out. But, like, I baked it without the walls here. So what does it think is in the way?
Is there like,
This just in, this room works if I take the wall out.
what the heck, walls?
I don't know. Does it have something to do with the fact that they wrap all the way around as one mesh?
But why the floor? Why the square floor on the second floor?
Huh?
The second floor is just a square. Why is that doing that?
What do you
Down
mean?
below.
The stuff over by the glass thing?
Yeah, where there's like the museum stand stuff type
Right.
of display.
I don't know. I mean, it's not, I mean, it will be covered by a wall, but, like, the question is why, I guess.
It's not visible, but I'm just asking why.
Yeah. Because I'm looking at it right now. Let me try, well...
These questions and be like, why do bad?
This is really weird. Like, it's really weird. I wonder if there are, like, back face things going on where, like, there's a... Like, maybe... Okay, so, if you see in the stream, like, there's technically 2 things. There's, like, a thing right here and right here. But we're looking through the back faces of them. It might not really understand what the back faces are, and that might be the problem.
Oh.
Let's try... this is getting so sloppy. There's, like, lots of stuff we have to undo now. Just want to make sure I can keep undoing through it. Let's try disabling that, like, the ceiling and the thing, which we previously couldn't even see anyway. But then rebaking occlusion and seeing what happens. Deploy. Deploy. Yeah, I don't know if... Let me look back at Task Manager. It's still throttling the CPU even though I set its, like, importance to lower. So I don't know... My stream looks okay. Even, like, as it's baking. Oh, well, I guess I just saw myself push the bake button, so we'll have to see. Oh, boy. Yeah, it looks fine. I don't know. Alright, so let's see if that solved the problem. If so, then we have a back face problem. We have a back face problem.
How do we fix it?
I don't know. It just means... Now, it's not a problem there because that, like, obviously that'll be covered up. But, it might have something to do with something related to back faces.
Okay, so look at, like, the closet. How can we, like, fix that?
I don't know. So let me try... There's a thing called back face threshold. Let me try messing with that. So putting everything back and then seeing if messing with the back face threshold will magically solve our problem.
Please fix threshold problem.
Please fix our game.
It's weird that, like, it clips in and out depending on where you're standing through the back face.
If that's what it is. Well, yeah, it is.
Sometimes can go through and sometimes gets
That
blocked.
is the really weird thing. So I don't know if, let's see. Back face threshold. Let me just look up a definition of back face threshold, because I'm not sure I understand what that is. Let me just, I guess we already got the manual open. Unity's occlusion uses a data size optimization which reduces unnecessary details by testing back faces. The default value of 100 is robust and never removes back faces from the dataset. A value of 5 would aggressively reduce the data based on locations with visible back faces. Would aggressively reduce the data based on locations with visible back faces. The idea is that typically, valid camera positions would not normally see many back faces. For example, the view of the underside of a terrain, or, you know. With a threshold lower than Unity, Unity will remove these areas from the dataset entirely, thereby reducing the data size for the occlusion. Okay, let's set it to like 5 then and see what happens. Or like nothing. Actually, 5 is as low as it'll go. Oh my gosh, the bass is just going crazy in the other room. It's ridiculous, guys. Ridiculous. I'd say this is a better stream than our other one already.
What makes you say that?
Just because it works. The other one literally didn't work. Except when, of course, you know, occlusion culling happens. Although it seems to be keeping up with it, even while it's baking. Which is weird. So I just set the priority in Task Manager to, like, very low priority or whatever. But it's still using 100% of the CPU. But if I look at the stream, it's baking right now. And, it like, I can still see fraps dancing around, you know? Alright. Super mega aggressive back face threshold. Oops, do I not have a wall? Oh, okay, it was just a preview.
If we put a
What?
follow Twitter underneath Play Arcade.
What?
What if we put a follow our Twitter link underneath Play Arcade?
Yeah, I was gonna do that. I was just too lazy.
Oh no.
I didn't want to go get like a Twitter picture and everything. Okay. That does not solve this problem.
I'm going to report Colin Jordan Studios.
You're gonna report Colin George Studios? Please don't.
I just clicked the drop down button and that was the only option.
You disappoint me. You're fired.
No.
Let's go check out the basement and see if that changed anything about there.
Oh boy.
I doubt it, because it didn't change the
upstairs?
closet. No.
Oh wow.
So, in which case, I doubt that it fixed anything.
So, what's plan B?
It didn't. So,
You want to be in the basement. You're still upstairs in my space.
although, mind you, it is removing back faces from the dataset, which means it's probably saving space, question mark, question mark, question mark. But, oh, it says 3. Oh boy, we got more people. Hello. But yeah, so I guess, you know, I don't think in that case that it's a backface problem. Or at least the thing that we were looking at had a backface problem. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Whereas, well, let me think about that. So, because we were standing up here, and we had this wall removed. Delete. And then we looked down here, and we deleted the back faces of... We deleted these things, which made that appear. And then, I don't know what to do next. I don't know what to try.
We try tiny chunk management.
We could. It might tear up my CPU, though. Smallest hole. Really tiny. Smallest occluder. Super tiny. Default parameters guarantee that any given scene computes fast and the occlusion culling results are always good. Well, clearly that's not the case. As the parameters are always scene-specific, better results will be achieved when fine-tuning the parameters to scene bias. I'm sure I've read this before. I'm reading it again. All of the parameters are dependent on the unit scale of the scene, and it is imperative that unit scale parameters is set correctly before setting the default values. Great, whatever. We could bake with really smallest occluder, but I don't think that will help. It's especially weird that the actual groups themselves are not the problem. Remember, it has to do with the walls.
Off the walls. Put the walls in new layer.
What if it's... that's weird.
Remove walls from our game. No more walls from here on out.
You might just... Yes. You might just, like, take the walls for the basement and the... is it the same object as the floor? No. It's a pretty complex set of geometry. It doesn't just wrap all the way around. It, like, wraps all the way around, and specifically the place where we have the issue is related specifically to the wall, because we removed the wall and it fixed the problem. When we... specifically only not in the outside of the room... of the closet, but the inside of the closet. But all of that is one object, which means it has something to do with the fact that our geometry, like, has a hole in it, so to speak. Like, if you look on stream, you can see where, like, the closet is like a separate room from everything else, but it's still part of the same geometry, and for some reason, Unity's occlusion culling system doesn't understand that. You know what I mean?
So, should each wall be its own object?
That's kind of what I'm thinking, and it doesn't have to happen everywhere per se, but the fact that it, like, goes in on itself and forms a whole nother room inside of a room, I think is the problem. But I don't understand if that's the case with the basement. You know, it just looks like it's one. We could see if the same thing is true if we remove the walls in the basement, if and then bake again if the problem is solved.
Oopsies.
I'm sure something great just happened.
I just I hit the object I was trying to not hide.
Okay. Excellent.
I guess I'll separate the walls now.
Yeah, that could be one thing we could try. I'm gonna generate occlusion again. See what happens. So what did you say is like an app we could use to like see when people are like actually live in the stream?
I don't know what it's called. I recall there being a way to have it so that when a new viewer pops up, it goes,
Well, while this bakes, I'm searching the internet to find out.
oops. Super oops. That left wall isn't part of it, right?
What?
The wall in that room
Yeah.
that like goes into the cafe, that's a different object, right?
The one that goes into the cafe? Oh
Like
boy.
if you're looking at the fireplace,
still
and you look
baking?
to the left, isn't that its own?
If... Say that again. The fireplace.
But like looking at the fireplace head on, and you look to your left, is that wall a different object?
Oh. Yes. There's one wall that's attached to the floor, you know? It, like that, the one left of the fireplace is attached to the floor, and then,
Why do that? Oh bueno, not be the floor. Where is the floor?
oh, I'm trying to bake, like, really tiny occlusion. Let's not do that. No, thank you. Oh, that's so much better. Ah, the frame rate has returned. But wait, why was I baking this again? Oh, because I removed the wall and the... Right.
Why does anyone do anything?
It's a good question. Scientists have tried to answer this for years. We still don't have clear answers. Occlusion culling! Woo! Nothing is more exciting than watching occlusion culling. Go ahead and bake. You know?
Yeah, super.
Should I play some intense music
I mean, if you do.
while
Although
it
the
bakes?
VOD will probably be muted if you do.
Think anyone's gonna know Tomoki's? Think any system's gonna pick up Tomoki's theme from SNO? I think not. Oh boy, this looks promising already. That was sarcasm.
Occlusion culling. Oh, it's super fun.
You occlusion culling. Yes. Yes, that's kind of how I feel right now. It is the wall. Like, the wall in the basement is literally the thing that's messing it up, Jordan. I don't know why.
Well, who made that wall? Certainly not I.
Yeah, occlusion culling is kind of a sometimes. Especially right now. Normally, I mean, like, it's so nice when it just works. Because, I mean, we were doing a stream yesterday, and that didn't go so well. But that was because our bit rate was, like, wrong. And so it was lagging horribly. And also, I was, like, generating lighting by accident at the same time, so that's generally not advisable. But, like, the occlusion culling, it takes forever on massive scenes regardless of having occlusion areas. And then, yeah, the random stuff that breaks is exactly what we're dealing with right now. It's just like these 2 walls that we have are completely screwing up these rooms. Let me see if it messed up, because I remember the door was also messed up. So I think I'm going to have... So Jordan, who's the guy on the phone here, is our artist. And so I think... Are you fixing it right now?
Well, I'm doing something that we think might fix it.
Well, just separating them and seeing if that works.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you think that... You think that the walls need to just be more separated?
I think they just need to be, yeah, separate objects, but I don't know. I'm trying to undo back to where our walls are. We'll delete them anyway, I suppose, but...
What was the thing with, like, the back faces that we figured out?
Well, I mean, the back faces thing doesn't seem to be an issue. Because, again, it was like Unity was saying in the manual. Yeah. So he says, stuff disappears like my main character. Whatever is on the wall in the inspector... what is on the wall in the inspector, should it be static? Oh, that's a good question. What if we just...
Are things not static?
Well, it looks like everything's static. At least here, it's static. Like, everything. In every way. But I would assume, like, everything should be. Right? I think the same is true down here. I think everything actually in the whole place is static, except this shouldn't be. Let me fix that real quick, actually. Because that is not supposed to be, but I know it is. Because that's supposed to turn. There we go. Something with the material. What do you mean? Maybe try replacing the material. Okay. Why not? Gold!
Or does he mean replace the object?
He said the material.
Okay.
Not the original existing model. What do you mean?
I mean, I think he means don't replace the original existing model.
Well, yeah, that's what we're trying to do right now. The walls look like cheese now, but let's see if it... Oh, well, I don't know. I should probably rebake it. I would imagine I should rebake it. Yeah. Or we could... I mean... So hopefully this will bake real quick and not blow everything up. And yeah, we're gonna replace it entirely here. That's what Jordan's working on right now. Is like making a completely new object.
Hopefully that does something and not a complete waste of time. Well, so I did that for the room upstairs.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll go do it for the basement.
Okay. We'll just import it in one go, I guess.
Well, I'll just import those 2 things. I have a couple other things, I mean, like the process.
Right.
Sort of fixing. Like, there's the spiral staircase that is, like, a completely different problem, but, like, not really a big problem.
I mean...
it's a problem that can easily be...
Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's not like occlusion culling.
So, I mean, you asked me to re-export the walls as, like, individual objects. So
yeah, I don't think it has to do with the materials. So, yeah, what were you saying, Jordan?
Be ready to, like, click and drag the texture. Well, you might be able to just, like, I guess select all the walls and put the same basic material on them all.
What do you mean?
I just mean it's going to be a lot of walls.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. I mean, it'll be the same material for all of them.
Each.
Well, I'll just throw the geometry in and just see if it works just without the material, because we just proved that the material doesn't have to do with it by throwing a different material on there.
Do you think the problem is that the walls are just, one, too many walls or one mesh, and it's, like, causing culling to not know what to do?
Well, yeah, like, too many walls are included in, like, in a single mesh, and so occlusion culling messes up. It's specifically, I would think in the closet upstairs, it's specifically because it's like a closet that like splits off from everything else. But I don't know why the basement does it. That's really strange. Because again, we have other rooms that do the same thing where it wraps all the way around, but it's not a problem there. Are you going to email me those or what?
I am about to, yes. I think that these are all.
Sweet. This guy says, you guys have early access game on GameJolt. I will be publishing my game soon. Maybe we can review each other's games. Very nice. Where can we find your game?
Well, it's not published yet, but we.
Or like yeah, I guess
Where
we're
can we find it in the future?
Yeah.
Whenever it is published.
I'm working in the 3D space on Unity, and maybe we could share useful tips. Sure. Jordan, should we open the Discord?
If you want, if you could talk in here or there, it's with.
Yeah, but I mean just like for sharing like
Oh,
tips
sure.
and stuff is what he said.
I'm gonna I guess email this to you.
Yeah, and I'll see if I can't open up our Discord and like invite him. The Horologist's Legacy. Progress and announcements, stream chat. The stream chat isn't like a private thing right now. Although we're not in the stream chat right now. I'll just make it private for now. But the problem is I'm gonna have to like change like your status, Jordan, in order to be able to make it private, I think. Yeah. He says yes, invite me to Discord, sweet. Will do, if I can figure out how to make this stupid stream chat like private, because it's supposed to be.
Word on the street is that I'm about to email it to you.
I'll just delete it for now. We don't even use it anyway.
And you, yeah. I'm just gonna email it because you're working in this scene and I don't want to blow stuff up.
Maybe I should add a channel for like just game dev. That would be cool. I'll put it in the off-topic section. Just be like game dev. Create. Alright, how do we invite people? Here we go. Expires every 1 day by default. Okay, that's probably good. Especially because I guess I'll just put it in the stream chat. But look, my own rules showed up when I went into my chat. That's pretty cool.
What?
I think that's an invite to the Discord, maybe? It's private for right now, but we'll probably open it up at some point.
You've got mail. I think those were all of the walls. It should be
Sweet.
both of them.
Oh boy.
You know, hopefully I'm not like missing one wall somewhere. That'd be really funny. But I don't see how it could be possible.
Fixed walls, download.
Hello.
Here are 2 cool Unity add-ons.
Do you have
Project
the app?
bookmarks.
Does the app make little ding sounds every time someone
It's
talks?
not the app, but yes, it makes ding noises.
My app does that. It like gives me like push notifications.
Go to gamedev if you want to post like game dev stuff, because that would be good, I think. Yeah, we'll have to actually get a couple people on here at some point. That would be good. So I'll have to check out those add-ons too. See what they're all about. Unity themes are very nice for the eyes.
He linked to...
What do you mean Unity themes?
I think he's talking about the things he linked above. He's talking about the GitHub link, I think, that he put in the chat. The Twitch chat.
Oh, so is it kind of like you can get a dark theme without Unity Pro? Because I might like that. Oh. He says yes, I like this a lot. I will definitely have to look into that for sure. Because yes, the default theme is not nice on the eyes. Okay, so I just downloaded your fixed walls, Jordan, and I will put them in the project. No. If I can ever... What am I doing here? New stuff. FBX. Mansion. And then for some reason you have real mansion. You never explained why that was.
Well, I think that I created the mansion folder, and then I put, like... Remember we were like, hey, put the... like preview of what the mansion looks like so far in the folder.
Oh, right.
And then like I did that for a few times, and it's like, well, now there's a bunch of fake news.
You should have made a fake mansion folder and put them all in there.
Yeah.
Should have done the opposite.
So everything in the mansion folder, to my knowledge, can be deleted, and the real mansion folder can just become the mansion folder.
And you can change other stuff like the text. Cool. Let's see. Okay, so I have to put that into the root.
Oh boy, how long have you been working on this game?
Is that what he said? Oh yeah, a long time. Oh boy.
Too long.
Too long, probably. I mean, so it depends on how you look at it. Like this version of the game, what do you think? A year and a half, maybe? Something like that?
Yeah. Although it's like a tricky question, because like
yeah.
The
concept has existed for a very long time, like when we started doing game dev, and we've just continued to like build it and like redesign it into like something that's like actually good, I think, you know? Where did those walls go? What the heck?
We just like
I don't feel like those went to the right place. Oh,
were horrible
I
at
just turned it
first and
off.
slowly got better. I'm like, well, this is trash. We need to remake everything.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, same thing, too long. Yeah. I know that feeling for sure. What? What? Why are they short?
The concept probably started 5 years ago.
Yeah, about 5 years ago, probably.
And
Jordan.
we started flipping what?
I hate to break it to you, but the ones in the basement are short for some reason.
What?
Like, do you see in the stream?
I'm watching the stream. What's the problem?
You see how like they don't come all the way up? I might be able to just stretch them if.
What? Oh. See, I think I'm an idiot. And I might have. I'm doing too many things at once to do things successfully.
What?
Hang on.
What's going on? I could do it the hacky way and just be like,
I think. Oh no.
What'd you do?
I exported part of. That was the collider somehow.
That was the colliders?
I told you.
Well, just import just the basement then, because I'll just delete those, and then we'll see if it works upstairs. I'll run an experiment.
I just made oopsies. Like it's no biggie. I'm just kind of stupid.
Yes. One simple thing is all it takes to get this result. Yes, indeed. We're just throwing like a kind of a default material and everything, which is why everything looks the way it does too, is because after we figure out our optimizations, then we're going to go into lighting, and then materials, and then probably, because we do lighting, also another layer of optimizations related to the lighting stuff. Should I have deleted one of these?
So no. The hallway is the part that is incorrect. Is that correct?
Just the whole basement was like your colliders, I think, is what you said.
Oh, so oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Oopsies, my bad.
Don't worry about it. I don't know why I'm even throwing the material on. I really should just bake occlusion and see if it fixed the problem, yeah. So hopefully the stream doesn't lag up, because it has, but I think I made it like a lower priority, and baking it with these settings is not terrible. Intense music? Question mark? Oh boy, one of our fans just tweeted something on Twitter. What's that? Oh, he's just posting a video.
Wow.
Rain swept. Some game. Was he one of them that donated a few bucks? I don't remember. Mikey Bly.
It was so long ago,
I'll find out. I remember him because he was the one that was like, "Oh, this is such a great game," and he's the one that I used in the trailer and stuff.
Oh wow. I'm about to send you the real life.
The actual basement, yeah. He was not one of the people that donated, but he said lots of nice things on his YouTube channel, so he's pretty great.
Everything goes according to plan.
This might actually be the real basement this time. Let's see if it works. Yeah. I should.
Please buy my game.
Ah, thank you. Sorry for the echo. My desktop speakers are on, and also it sort of echoes on its own for some reason, which is really strange. I still use Fraps. Yes, Fraps is awesome. I don't use it for recording. Like, OBS, I think, is just... I feel like has less overhead. Well, not necessarily has less overhead, but the file sizes that they produce are so much, like, better compressed. And yes, Fraps works in Unity, totally. I love just having it there because it means I don't have to, like, add something to Unity if I want like an actual FPS counter, because the FPS counter like up here is not real. Like, it doesn't actually give you the real numbers. It tries to estimate what it would be like if you weren't in the editor, and it doesn't do a great job of it, I don't feel like. Yeah, most people would say not to use the in-editor FPS counter. Something not loading? No. How about
I
this?
sent the basement question mark.
And our occlusion culling is working? Because I think we just fixed it right there.
Actually worked.
I think so, yes.
Our fix for once actually fixed it.
Actually fixed. I mean, we tried a bunch of stuff. We were going to run into it eventually. Because we narrowed down the problem to what it actually was.
Like, did you go...
Yeah, I don't use Fraps for recording. Yeah. Just for checking the frames. I was actually saying, like, literally earlier today when we were, I was taking I took a build of this game onto one of my laptops to see if things were different on an integrated graphics. And yeah, I was talking about like, I really need to get fraps on here. But yeah, anyway, I have it on all my computers except that laptop I just got recently. Okay, so now.
You have the real life basement.
Did you send me the real basement?
Yeah, it's the real one this time.
Okay.
I think that.
Let me go put it in.
I was telling you that I had like a simplified mesh collider for the walls in the house because a lot of the walls had more complex geometry. And so I did a very simple mesh collider with no rendering. And I think I accidentally sent you that instead of the actual basement. But I fixed it now, and you should have the right one. Just the basement.
Unless we're about to laugh our heads off and find out that this is actually colliders again. Nope, it's not. It's fine.
It is a single-player spooky, scary game.
Is your game single-player spooky, scary game? Yes, absolutely. This level is actually particularly, like, not dark and spooky in the traditional way. Kind of intentionally as sort of like a contrast to the rest of the game. But there's still, like, kind of a different sort of psychological horror that we're playing around with in this level. That I've kind of been wanting to do for a long time. It's also a huge level in comparison to our previous levels. Like, our previous level can fit into this level, like, probably 4 or 5 times, something like that. You can fit the whole level in the front yard here. Like, it's,
There are no moldy zombies, but sort of. And...
Yeah, there are no, there are no moldy zombies. But, yeah, it's a little less based on, like, traditional enemies and more towards, like, weirder kind of enemies and obstacles, you know? Yeah. I did like Resident Evil 7. I played that a couple months ago. It was really good.
This one in particular is big.
Yeah, this level is like problematically big. Like it's taking us a while to make this one.
It's meant to, I guess, take a while to get through.
Yeah, this one, yeah. I think I'm even going to bring up the walk speed just slightly in this one, which I've done before. Like, for instance, with, you know, you're not going to know this, but Jordan will, is the early, there's a part in the game where there's this outside scene and you kind of walk for a couple minutes and there's not a lot going on. And I'm trying to find little things to sort of throw in there, just little environmental things, because it gets a little boring. But the walking speed increases for that part just a little bit, just to kind of push it along a little faster. And I think I might do that in here just because it is such a big level for single player. And the controller walks pretty slow. Okay, let me start throwing these materials back on here.
Oh boy.
And then we'll rebake Occlusion Culling again.
How much do you want to say?
What's the main game story like? The purpose of the main protagonist and what you're doing. A lot of it's pretty, like, left pretty vague intentionally. Like, we actually, like, have explanations for those, but they kind of unfold as you go. It's a little bit, like, people have said it's a little bit like Amnesia in that way, where it's kind of like, ooh, I don't know what's going on. But it's kind of, I feel like it's kind of weirder than Amnesia, if that makes sense. Like, it's, yeah, it's kind of like, ooh, Jordan, maybe we can throw the super nice bricks down here. That looks terrible with just the reflecting off the skybox, but I don't know, we'll think about that. But yeah, like, it's, I don't know, how much can we say about that without, like, totally spoiling the game?
You can talk about the, I don't know, horology? Like, whatever's in the demo, I guess.
Yeah, so in the demo, you kind of, there's this whole thing about how...
Unless you're spoiling things, like, I don't know.
The what?
Unless he, like, wants to play the demo. I don't know.
He says, I've personally never played games like Resident Evil, Amnesia, Slenderman, etc. Yeah, I used to really like games like Amnesia and Slender, just, I don't know, because they were popular. And I did play Resident Evil 7 recently, just because I feel like they've not only returned to form with what made, like, the old Resident Evil games good, which I wasn't really alive during that era, so I'm not, like, one of those people that have, like a lot of nostalgia for the old Resident Evil games, but I understand, you know, having seen like a lot of analysis and stuff on YouTube, that like a lot of the older Resident Evil games are really good, especially for the day and age that they came out. And so there was a return to form there, and a like also just kind of a new wave sort of thing that they kind of mixed in that worked really well. And having played it, I think it really did play out that way. I think it was really good. But yeah, so I mean, I kind of get bored with some of those games, though, especially like Slender. Like, if you haven't played Slender in a long time and you come back to it, it's kind of interesting. Me and one of my friends, like a year or two ago, we like went out like actually into a forest and like took a laptop and like the map for Slender on paper and like just a flashlight, and it was pretty cool. Like, it was kind of an immersive experience. We wore headphones and stuff like that. It was scary, but yeah, I mean, but the actual gameplay mechanics I feel like are not as engaging as they could be, and that's kind of what I want. I wanted to have that same sense of intrigue that came along with it in like this game, but have it in a way that's a little more accessible and a little less jump scary, if that makes sense. So that it's a little, yeah, it's kind of more accessible in that way, and like you don't feel like the game is completely attacking you everywhere, but you still have that feeling like it could. And yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I wanted to go. I mean, as long as your storytelling is strong and evident through the entire game, I don't see why your game shouldn't work out well. Oh, thank you. I mean, yeah, I definitely, we do a lot of focus on storytelling for sure. And the gameplay mechanics are core to the game for sure, absolutely. Yeah, and I hope that those things kind of line up well. That, like, having the mechanics that we do will line up well with the story we're trying to tell. And I think, in a way, it does. It's not, like, deeply symbolic in that way, unless you want to, like, interpret it that way somehow. But, yeah, I guess I don't know what else to say about it, but...
Yeah.
Okay, so I put the texture back on those walls, and then... Which one did we... I'm pretty sure we tested the basement, too. We rebaked Occlusion Culling for that as well. There are some other things I should chunk manage. Making them flow together is hard. I mean, what do you mean? Like, just the mechanics in general, or like... constant polishing?
Everything is always polished.
Yes, for sure. A lot of
Never
polish.
done.
Yeah, it's never done for sure. it's like having a project car. It's just like you never finish it. It's never really done. But like yeah, what do you mean, like making the levels flow together or making the mechanics flow together? I'm not sure what you mean by that. But flow in general is important for sure. Let me do some more chunk managing over here. So we've got there were a couple things that were still sticking through. I don't remember what they were. The floor over here, actually, was one of them.
Are there any other
I thought.
occlusion culling issues in this that need to be looked at, that I need to, like, fix?
I don't think there's any other occlusion culling related things that you have to fix,
Good.
as far as I know.
I mean, it's not...
Let me...
if that's not
Was there
what I
something
have-
else that we were having a problem with? One of those bathrooms, actually.
Oh.
You remember that?
One of the bathrooms.
Yeah, one of these bathrooms actually has a problem.
Well, I guess we'll do that.
Yeah, I guess I'll... So let me figure out which one that was. I think it was the master bathroom, right?
It is one object, so that would make sense.
Yeah.
I never knew this was a problem.
I didn't either. I mean, and again, a lot of them are already one object kind of as it is. He says, making the gameplay and story work together. Yeah. Yeah, because there was a big thing in just, like, the game analysis kind of field a while back, where people made, like, the buzzword was, to be saying, was ludonarrative dissonance, which is just, literally just means, like, the story and the gameplay go against each other. Which, yeah, it's definitely kind of tough, especially because, again, I forgot the collider wasn't on there either. Especially because we came up with the concept, like, for the actual mechanics of this long before the story really, like, looks the way it does, or really even had anything to do with what it kind of does now. So hopefully we can kind of make them work together anyway. Do you plan on doing platforming, like, I see your level is a house on platforming?
Not gonna be like Super Meat Boy.
Yeah, it's not gonna be like a... I mean, it isn't a platformer. It is a kind of traditional... I don't know if I should say traditional, but it's... Yeah, I wanted to take kind of that... I don't know what to compare it to. I like the way that, like, Resident Evil is a horror game, and also just you kind of explore. It's not like kind of a semi-open world in the way that Resident Evil is. It's more linear than that, but I feel like it moves fast enough and presents you with it. And yeah, Jordan, it's that master bathroom, and I'm pretty sure. I'm sure it's the wall, because look at the shape of the wall. It's like, yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, that's just really strange. I'm not even sure, like, what it even is. I just know that it being weird like that has something to do with it.
Struggles to calculate culling where it is.
Yeah.
When it's, I don't know. I mean, it's just too complex of one single mesh. But if we make the walls individual, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
I think it's normally a problem if it's just like 4 walls, but maybe these rooms, I guess, all have like more twists and turns.
Yeah.
And maybe that's just causing too much of a problem.
Let me see if I can't find any more of those rooms while you're doing that. Trying to remember where those problems were. It was probably, if it was anywhere, it was probably another bathroom.
There are 2 others.
There are 2 others. There's one in the guest bedroom, and there's one where? Oh, there's one, like, downstairs, I remember.
By the, I don't know, piano room.
Piano. Yes, that. I can't tell. The terrain's still doing its thing. We love you, Occlusion Culling. And yeah, that bathroom down there is doing the same thing.
Oh, goody.
The one in the guest bedroom, I mean, not the one by the piano. I'll go check that one. Oops. What? I feel like adding a mix of platforming would be cool for a game in your genre. It would be unique in that case. It would be really unique, actually, to bring platforming into the horror genre. Because I don't I can't think of any horror platformers.
There's like.
Yeah, the terrain's totally freaking out. I was doing that earlier too. I'm not sure why.
Dying Light was like sort of. It was like horror in the sense that there were zombies.
Right.
It wasn't really. There were like very few. I played it. There were few scenes, in my opinion, that were like actually scary. At night, it kind of got more intensive. That's like a core mechanic is they get
right.
Like the bigger, badder ones come out at night, and
It does it down here too. I don't know what it is. Just all the bathrooms are terrible. It's really strange. We're gonna have to replace the wall in the bathroom downstairs as well. I think. I'm gonna run a test with both of those, bring their walls out. But you were saying about Dying Light, so how it gets like more intense at night.
It's got like I guess you could call them like parkour kind of mechanics where you can jump on ledges and stuff.
Right.
So it's kind of got some platform aspects. And it's sort of horror. Not the same kind that our game is necessarily, but...
No, but, like, yeah. I mean, so, yeah, it's kind of like, yeah, it's kind of platforming in that sense. Alright, hopefully this doesn't blow up the stream. It hasn't before. Except yesterday. He's like, I'm cringing so hard, the occlusion is jacking everything up.
Well, aside from the terrain, I think we figured out what was causing the...
Yeah, so we figured out what, like, is wrong with all... I still can't describe why exactly it's happening, other than just it's confusing it, having a weird-shaped object that kind of comes in on itself in such, like, a small space, I guess. But, like, I still don't understand what's wrong with, like, the terrain. Like, you see the terrain out the window, and I'm not even sure if it's tied to the window entirely.
The only thing I can think of is, like, it's kind of... It's complex in that, like, it goes in for the basement.
Oops.
But it's not like there's walls around you, really.
Yeah.
Except for, in the basement, there are kind of terrain walls around you. But, like, I don't know what you can do for that. Any ideas?
Yes. Oops. What's in that group? Does that have the... What am I looking at here? Oh, okay.
So...
Try that again. What? You're baking already? Did I tell you to bake? I must have. Thanks for sticking around, by the way. It's been interesting talking to you so far. He says, is it because when you're looking at the window, the camera is only taking the inclusion from the window and the terrain is in the outside is not being occluded?
Is it? I don't know how it calculates occlusion culling.
The glass game object from the window, right. I mean, does it have something to do with the fact that it's a transparent object? Possibly? Not sure.
I mean,
it also could just have to do with the fact that, like, Jordan made, well, oh wait, the terrain's not even here.
I'm saying,
you know,
like,
wait, so, but we excluded the terrain from the, I might not have excluded the terrain from the previous bake. So that was my previous solution, was to not even, and yeah, you can see through the glass.
He's saying, like, the culling is supposed to, like, if it detects a mesh in the way, then it won't show what's on the other side.
Right.
And so, like, you can see through glass, though, so it detects objects, although you can see through the object, which is the problem.
Okay, so let me turn all those objects back on. I think I might, so I previously took the terrain out of the occlusion culling bake so that it didn't even, like, so there's a group of objects, like, the That's why all of these things are gone. It's not because occlusion culling's messing them up. I just don't have them on. That occlusion culling messes up if we have them bake, because we did some kind of weird stuff with the house. So like the way it kind of runs in, like there's a room up there that's actually like runs down into this room, and we just make it so it doesn't load when you're down here. That's so weird, because the terrain over here, I took it completely out of the baking, so I wouldn't even think it would even try to do anything. Yeah, okay, so taking that wall out of here does fix that one. Let me run downstairs.
Wait, did you find another oopsie somewhere with culling?
It was all the bathrooms.
But like the whole bathroom or just the bathroom?
Just
part?
the wall. I mean, just redo the walls. Like,
is like the part with the window also included in that?
part with the window.
Well, like just like the.
Oh no, I don't think it's even the same object. Where did I just go?
Okay, so the bathrooms are kind of like two things in that.
Oh, that's a master bathroom.
There's
Where the heck did I
there's
go?
like the part you can walk into, and then there's the part where there's like the shower.
Oops, I guess I deleted those objects. But yeah, like, the walls are separate from... Like, the walls in the bathroom are self-contained.
Well, I'm just...
If that makes
Is
sense.
it both parts, or just, like, the part with the shower and, like... Or is it, like, the sink part, too? Are those walls also an issue?
Is it the sink part too? You mean the one, like, downstairs where there's two walls?
No. Both, like, bedroom, bathrooms. You walk in...
Right.
And there's like a big open area and then like a closed door.
Okay.
So like the bathroom's kind of like two rooms, so to speak.
Bathroom's like two... Oh, no, it's just the bathroom part of the bathroom. It's not the sink area.
Okay.
And
It's
I
not the
just
open
got
area.
flinged a million miles in the air. Great. That happens when you try to jab yourself into the geometry.
So. Okay. So like that hallway in the guest bedroom or whatever you want to call it, that doesn't have like any problem or like
This
the
toilet
part
looks
with the
hilarious.
sink and the windows and the little table. that's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. It's just that. And I also checked the bathroom downstairs, like by the front room or whatever. And it's not that like extra wall bit that juts out on its own. Like, that doesn't cause any problems. It's just the wall that goes all the way around it. It's always that for some reason.
Okay. Then I will not include that little wall.
And then while you're working on that, I'm gonna see if I can't
So
do
there's
another bit
those
of
three
chunk management.
bathrooms. I think those are the only other ones.
The 3 bathrooms are the only other ones. I think so, from what I've seen so far. Except for the terrain acting weird, which is kind of a separate
But like,
problem.
I don't know. It sounded like
What was I gonna do here?
maybe the issue was. Did you get what I was saying
What?
earlier about the terrain?
Kind of?
The issue with like culling calculates where if it detects an object in the way,
Right,
it won't render what's on the other side.
right.
And so I think it's detecting the glass object and going, you can't see through that because there's an object.
That's what I was thinking too.
But it's got a transparent material.
We could try, deleting the window and doing a bake and seeing if it acts differently.
Okay.
That's actually a good idea. It might even just be... It might even know that you can see through the window, and the fact that we have those tiny little wooden thingies, whatever you want to call them, that, like, separate the window panes. You know, the little wooden things?
Yeah.
The fact that those are there might also be screwing with it. I don't know. Don't let me forget to undelete those after I bake this.
Okay. I guess just delete the... You can leave the wood or just delete that too. I don't
I'm
know.
gonna delete just the window and see if it fixes it, and then I'll do the little wooden things too,
Okay.
if it doesn't work. And if those are the problems, then we can, I think, just not include them. And so occlusion culling will bake as if there's nothing there, which will solve our problem. Maybe you could make them non-static, or you could make them just non-static, yeah. You know, I don't even, speaking of which, I don't even know, yeah, like, you could just make just the glass and the little wood things non-static for sure. I realize I've been, like, having this group that I just disable every time. I don't know why I'm even doing that. I could literally just make those objects non-static. Although, then again, I'm not sure if it still kind of does some sort of culling, because, again, it's trying to cull the terrain, and the terrain is not included in the, like, things to... Like, it's static, but it's not, like, it's not in the bake. It's almost worse now. Yeah, let's just try making both of those non-static.
Yeah. I mean, if that works,
He said you would have to do that for every window, which is true.
Yeah. Is there a reason they need to be static? I mean, are they static for a reason?
They're static so that they use occlusion culling, I guess.
I'm no Unity expert. It's not exactly my field of expertise.
Yes. Oops, I don't know why I thought that would work without baking. Let me just do that for... Well, no, because that might fix the problem in a different way, which I should try right after this, actually. Bake. Alright. How's it going?
If those... I was waiting to see if there were any other things that needed to be re-imported, but I can email you the 3 rooms with fixed walls now if you want.
Sure.
Because I think those are the only problems with culling that are besides the terrain. So...
Alright. Now, does it work? We're about to find out, kids. I say kids in like an ironic way. I know you guys aren't kids. Well, shoot. I think it works. Maybe try with your players outside the house and see if it still bugs out regardless of physical objects being in front of the camera. That is a good question. So, I mean, we're seeing now that at least, because I do remember that was a problem earlier, and so I should definitely check for that. But actually, yeah, I think if we just make all of the windows non-static, like, I think that top one won't be a big deal. Because the train's not actually going to go like that. It's just Jordan messing around.
No, terrain isn't actually supposed
yeah.
to be all lumpy. It's just, the terrain is not done yet.
Yeah, so let's, let me grab the player.
Okay, so, I don't think that top bit matters, because
The top bit, yeah, because you're not going to be able to see out of there. I think you're right. I think it's fixed now.
I guess go to all the windows. There is a kind of a lot, but it's not like it's a billion.
Yeah, it's probably all the windows, I would imagine. I could just kind of select them and then turn them all static at once. Oops.
You can just, like, it'd probably be easier if you flew around the outside of the house to see where the windows are instead of going in the house.
Yeah.
So just, pop on out and, like, just move the camera around the house.
Let me like poke the player into another window and see if it really... Because I don't know if all windows have that problem or if it was just that one, but I would think all of them would have the same problem.
That looks fine.
You're still... Are you seeing the window, or are you still seeing the outside place?
I'm seeing a very delayed...
This is weird. So, like, none of these windows seem to have a problem, is the weird thing.
I mean,
He's like, let me sculpt your ugly terrain. Like,
it is.
it's terrible, yeah. It'll be...
The reason, like, we were messing up before. We had only used the default height map resolution, and we tried raising it slightly, and all those stupid bumpy hills and stuff were just sort of
like attempts to...
in the higher resolution.
Yeah, just seeing how the higher resolution affected.
But it's not gonna have a giant rock cliff thing over there. It's gonna,
yeah. It'll be like nice rolling hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Oops. Did I just see something weird? I don't think so. There's kind of a weird reflection there, that's about it. That is really strange, actually. Yeah, the weird thing is, I don't see any other windows that do it. I'm gonna have to, like, check all the windows now.
So those, like, windows in the front, or, like, the side, or whatever.
Yeah, I just checked a whole bunch of them, and they're all fine so far.
Super tools, you say? Please elaborate. Wait, is it called super tools, or are you calling the tools you use?
I use super tools for crafting my terrain. Yeah, that's the question. Are they super tools, or are you referring to them as super tools? Okay, let's asset store. How likely are you to recommend the Unity Asset Store to a friend or colleague? Stop asking me questions. It just brought me to the Asset Store. It didn't, like, oh, the link got cut off. I'll tack that on.
I see.
I think that'll work.
I was like, that's weird.
Landscape auto material. Did you buy that full price, man?
Oh, I got...
Holy crap. Yeah, and these are always so gorgeous. If you can get them to work right, then they're amazing. I always worry about performance, though. Some of them are not especially performant, you know? There's a lot of disappointed people for some reason. I'm not sure why. But, like, I wonder if it has to do with the fact that... See, the thing is, you really can make stuff like this if you... He's like, the video. Watch the video. Are we allowed to listen to the music? So nice. I'm sure it's coming through 2 layers of compression over the stream, because it's YouTube compression and then stream. Well, I guess there isn't compression over the stream.
That would make sense if
but
those reviews are placed when it was poorly optimized.
That's possible too.
That's
That looks gorgeous.
That's sad.
Yeah, that's really nice. Now, and there's definitely a lot to be added, and a lot to be desired from the normal Unity terrain. That's probably echoing really bad. Sorry.
I mean, it looks super neato.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
I like realistic grass.
I still always wonder about the performance implications, because that's always an issue. The one of the benefits to having the crappy, like, he says they're like outdated reviews. Yeah.
It's like painting rocks. That's like super.
Like into the terrain, and I bet it's like part of the mesh of the terrain too, which is actually like.
I like that
awesome.
It like comes out too. Like he paints this rock cliff kind of thing, and
yeah.
It's not just going like straight up. It's got ins and outs.
Right.
Though I think it's a lot better than
I'm sure it's a lot. Yeah, I'm sure it's a lot better than the Unity. That's the one like real shining benefit of using the default Unity terrain is the fact that if you can get it to look good, and you have to kind of try, but if you can get it to look good, then you're like it's not that heavy on processing, especially if you got your LODs working. He says that you can use like LODs in the terrain, so that's good. He says there are a lot of performance options. That's pretty cool. And also available for Unreal 4.
I didn't see it.
It's $150.
Interesting. Does it ever go on sale?
Yeah,
I mean,
does it ever go on sale for like $9? I will buy.
See, making investments when it comes to like assets like this
is not normally what we do.
It's. I mean, we don't like to, but it's a good idea.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, like, especially if...
Will make way more than... I mean, $150 to make a good-looking terrain when your game will make way more than that once it's released.
He's like, third-party assets are what make Unity Unity. I mean, yes and no. Yes, that's one of the like most like shining benefits of Unity is definitely like third-party assets. Like actually, they probably have the best asset store out of any engine ever. And even if you're using a different engine, I think the way that the licensing even works, you're allowed to use Unity asset store stuff in other engines if it's compatible, which is, I mean, gosh, it's really the go-to asset store, I feel like. There is just so much stuff on it, and some of it is really amazing, for sure.
I mean, the only, like...
He's like, it's not worth the $150, though, and that might be true. Like, if it went on sale, then maybe. If it went on sale for, like, 50% off.
I think the only like
you know,
money investment we've made in like asset creation or anything like that.
Yeah.
We bought it for a single month.
We got Speed Tree for 1 month, and it was I mean, that was good because we built like a whole forest and kind of built up a little bit of a library of trees, which was that was good.
I've heard lots of people recommend that it's easy to go like, I don't want to invest $1 in assets or anything because I don't have a budget or anything.
Yeah, and we're that way a little bit, but like at the same time, it's like we got Speed Tree for a month because we just came to the conclusion that it's like it just makes so much more sense to just get Speed Tree for a month than try to work in Blender and make trees in Blender.
Other developers will recommend that you, especially if you're a small team, that you invest in a few things.
Yeah.
Just that speed up development, but also make it look better. I've seen people recommend buying like a material library or some kind of thing that just makes the scene look prettier.
Yeah, if you can't produce it yourself, or if you don't want to put the time investment in, but you've got like a genuinely good third-party asset that can do it for you, then
there are plenty of assets out there that are worth
what they cost a lot of times.
It's like I could.
Because you've got to always factor in the fact that like I still have to chunk manage this part. I forgot about that. Yeah, you still have to. You know, it's like, well, I could do this myself, but there's a lot of like time investment. Yeah, he's like, yeah, he says it's not worth hand making trees when you have Speed Tree. Like, Speed Tree is the industry standard. Like, if you see trees that are animated in a 3D movie, they're probably Speed Tree. Like, everything uses Speed Tree.
Since finding out what Speed Tree was way back when, it wasn't that long ago, but
yeah,
I've recognized Speed Tree trees in a lot of games.
Yeah.
I know, I'm pretty sure that 7 Days to Die used a Speed Tree.
Yeah.
I think I saw it in like that game about the hammer and the...
Getting over it with Bennett Fonda.
Yeah, I think getting over it uses speed to...
That wouldn't completely surprise me. Yeah, for sure. I haven't played Getting Over It, but I played the game that it was based on, which is called Sexy Hiking. And it's like this... It's this game made in, like, Game Maker 7. And, I mean, it's kind of terrible, but it's also kind of, like, not. Like, once you actually get into the mechanics of it, it becomes, like, rather addicting.
Hey, I
yeah.
sent the back, right? I didn't, like, just imagine that.
What?
I sent walls, right?
You sent what? You cut out.
Did I email the new walls, or did I just imagine that? Oh, I think I just imagined it.
You just imagined that you emailed the walls. Yes, I can confirm that you just imagined it.
I got caught up in the terrain.
Yes, I'll have to put those in right now. And then we shall do something else. What else was I gonna do? I was gonna, like, chunk manage, like, that wall out there. That's, like, uneven.
I did not imagine sending it this time, I promise.
Well, I mean, you probably imagined sending it, like, while you were actually sending it. It's just that your imagination was not the only thing at play. Question mark.
Sure.
Asterisk. What's going on? Anyway, let's see. Probably... Oh, so this one probably... I guess is gold. I'm not even sure why we're using the gold in there. It's kind of weird. We'll have to see if that actually works out.
Wait, I don't know. You wanted to try it, but like that
I do.
window, there are two windows lined up. It's kind of like I think one of them's for the inside, and one of them's for the outside.
Yes, that's what it is.
You wanted the windows to be symmetrical on the outside, but if they are, that specific window is off-center in the room, and so we're trying to, like, sort of fake it.
Yeah, so we basically, if you didn't understand what he just said, like, there's a window here, which lines up symmetrically outside, like the rest of the windows do. That's shiny, why? Why is that one shiny? Jordan, why'd you make this one place shiny?
What's shiny?
It's just this one part of the thing that's shiny.
Probably because it doesn't have UV data, and so it's like...
I think I was using a different material, but there also might be some... Well, no, because it's still shiny. Well, anyway, but yeah, so, like, there's a lot of little places like that.
Everything's okay. Also, so can you see, like, that line there in the wall?
Which line? Where?
Well, like, it looks like there's kind of a seam, but there's not, in, like, the front wall, and, like, between the two windows.
The place where it just starts...
Well, now that you've made it less shiny, it's kind of went away. But now
it's still there from certain angles.
I think that is due to the smoothing of the normals.
That might be the case, I would imagine.
So I'm not sure if we just need to, like, export those walls separately and not smooth the normals, or if we need to tweak the way we smooth them to not do that. Because if you go back to, like, import or whatever it is by default, I don't believe it does that.
Right. This is kind of weird. How will I do this? I guess I'll make it so that...
I'm familiar with how those work. I know, like, if you smooth the normals it up, certain things kind of need to be smoothed, because otherwise they look kind of garbage.
Yeah. But anything that's round.
Yeah.
Well, or like this, like, lamp that I'm looking at right now. Like, that needs smooth normals, otherwise you see all the lines. It's terrible. This is kind of lazy, but that's okay, because it's not, like, a big impact on processing or anything. It just needs to load when it's in the right place and unload when it's not. Which is probably fine if we just sort of do this with it. Which is ridiculous, but that'll work. something like that. Yeah, I was gonna say, I totally, like, got off topic, but I was gonna say that, like, yes, like, several minutes ago, I was gonna say, yes, like, the Unity, like, asset store is, like, it's awesome, and, like, it's a big part of what makes Unity Unity, but I also think a big part of what makes Unity Unity is just, it fundamentally kind of handles differently than other engines, like, I feel like it's more accessible, and it's just, I feel like they almost built the engine around the idea of, like, learning how to use an engine. Like, it's easier to learn and, like, more intuitive to learn how Unity works. Like, once you understand, like, scripts as behaviors and, like, how behaviors work and, like, the component system, and, like, you can navigate Unity, like, decently well, things start to really click. And just, I don't know. I'm not even sure if engines, like, I think Unreal is kind of moving a little more in that direction, but, like, other engines I don't even know what's going on there, so I guess I can't really necessarily speak for those, but yeah. So let me make this not like that and put this on ignore raycast like it should be. I don't know why this one isn't.
Have you ever noticed the walls I was talking about though? Like, have you ever noticed those?
In occlusion culling, like, being an issue?
I meant like I don't know, like the smoothness where it has a negative effect. I was talking about the outside wall.
Oh, when it has, like, a negative effect on smoothing. I feel like I've seen it happen before, but, like, I don't remember where necessarily.
I mean, I guess it sort of depends on the angle you're looking at it, but specifically, like, flat surfaces like walls, it can have a negative effect on it, potentially.
Yeah. So he says, Unity is easy to learn. I was lucky to have learned Unity a long time ago, back when I was a little scrub. But, like, yeah, I mean, I've been working in Unity for 5 years, probably, something like that. And, like, yeah, I love just kind of having the skills to jump in and just make games, which, like, we've done Ludum Dares and stuff, which, if you don't know, is a game development competition where you make a game within either 48 or 72, in our case, hours. And, yeah, and I love being able to, it's not so easy that, like, making a game in general is not so easy that you just jump in and you're like, a game in, like, an hour, unless it's, like, Game Maker and you're making Atari Pong or something, which you can do in, like, an hour. But, like, but besides that, it doesn't happen immediately. But aside from that, it's so nice to, like, actually, like, know where you're going and knowing that, like, in a day or whatever, I'll actually have a game. And then in a day, you really do have a game. It's nice having that experience under your belt, for sure, to be able to do that. Let's see. So I think I can actually make this act as 2 zones at the same time, which would just make this simpler. So if I just lock that down and then say, if this is a non-reverse zone, then it means this one needs to unload. That one, that one, that one. Is that everything? We need this little middle piece. And then from the inside, it just kind of works out because of the way the UVs are working. He's like, when I'm placing objects in the scene, and I'm working, it's kind of like Minecraft, placing blocks of game world. Oh, so, like, you're working on, like, are you working on just, like, placing the blocks in general, or are you working on, like, an actual, like, voxel system, the way Minecraft works? I was thinking the other day about, like, what if a voxel system had its own occlusion culling, and I don't have, like, the programming knowledge to write, like, something like this, I don't feel like, but it would be cool if you could have a a voxel system that like dynamically like was baking occlusion culling in a separate thread while you're like walking through the world. Because I mean, like when I play Minecraft, I tend to settle down in like a general location at some point, and I feel like the frame rate could be a lot higher than it is on my computer, especially for it being like really low resolution textures and all that good stuff. I feel like it still is like Resident Evil 7 is like running at the same frame rate, so it's like why? He's like, oh, just like normal game objects. I mean, like the way you're placing that window. Right. Oh, you mean like precisely like being able to like carefully like construct stuff in like the game, cuz that's pretty rad. Yeah, I don't I think I sort of kind of messed around with voxel at one point, but it's obnoxious. I'm sure it's the type of thing that's like once you get it and once you've made it work a couple times, it's like, oh, like it just kind of makes sense. But until that happens, it's like, what am I doing? I feel that way with neural networks. Like I really want to be able to make neural networks do stuff, but I don't know. They just don't fully make sense to me. And I would probably just have to mess around with them a lot more. And I'm not, like, invested enough in it right now that, like, I want to actually invest that amount of time in learning neural networks. Yeah, he's like, no, I mean the way that you place normal game objects to construct levels.
That makes sense.
Like how you're doing right now. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then we'll grab this other window. Nope, not that one, this one. And then...
So, do those even line up, by the way? Like, I haven't checked recently. I thought they did originally.
What do you mean?
I mean, well, like, if
What am I messing up
I
here?
say you hide the wrong one and just render the correct one for wherever your position is.
Right.
Does it, like, actually, say you're on the inside, does the inside version line up properly with where it's supposed to be?
Does the inside version line up properly?
Okay,
So this is the inside version that I'm using right now, and yeah, it, like, you can see it's centered like that.
So it'll work, is like what we're getting at. It should work well enough, maybe.
He says, nice job that we're starting to see machine learning in Unity. They had an interesting example a few weeks ago. I downloaded a project that has a machine learning car, and it's pretty interesting because, like, you know, you have the freedom to literally, like, totally mess up the environment that it's driving in. And within reason, like, it's kind of dumb, but if you mess up the environment, it will generally still figure out a way to get to the finish line without crashing, which is pretty cool because it's kind of this idea of code that writes itself, which is a little bit scary, but also like really cool at the same time.
I think the developer for Raccoons is hoping to like try to implement machine learning into his character some way.
That would be interesting to see how he's doing that. That was a real pain to get that one stupid window because they're like on top of each other and they all look the same. There we go. And I totally selected it wrong. Excellent. But it's okay. I can save my selection. Just save it over that first one. Hello. Give me a second, guys. Alright, sorry about that. Says, I'm using over 30 terrains in a single scene that's using that LAM tool you looked at earlier. Barely any lag. What kind of enemies are you going to have in your game? Okay, so, like, some of them are inanimate objects. which will make sense if you play the demo, which is, if you look below the stream, there's a big, like, play the game button, if you're interested in that. And, but then, like, in the next couple levels, more environmental stuff starts to get weird, and then also, just there's this other enemy that I don't want to spoil for you. It's not a traditional AI, but it looks like it's using an AI, but it's not, I guess. I mean, in a sense, it is an artificial intelligence, but, like, it's not. It doesn't have, like, a traditional, like, logic tree or something. I don't want to spoil how it works, but it kind of explains it in the game. And oops, let me see. And then there are some other kind of weird. Oops, I totally screwed that up. Selection, save selection, office window, lock the thing, load selection. Here we go. Okay, and this one's a reverse zone. Never tried this. I'll have to see if it works. You guys using an AI system, third-party AI system, or your own scripts? It's all stuff that I write. I'm trying to think of anywhere where we use something that isn't. Many years ago, the door script, which has been refined many times. It's not in this level. We haven't put in the doors yet, but, like, many years ago, the door script was someone else's code entirely, and I've changed it so much at this point as I, like, actually learned how to write stuff that it's completely my own system now. But, like, yeah, I'm pretty sure the only thing that I don't write the code for is, like, the obvious, like, what Unity does out of the box, and then also, like that includes, like, post-processing and stuff. C#, yeah, I mean, I'm no, like, mathematical genius guy or anything, for sure, but, like, I think I'm fairly proficient at C# at this point, at least at, like, if you go take a college course on C#, I'm proficient in probably all the basic things they'll teach you, and some other stuff that's probably just related to Unity. Let's see if that zone works. Now that we've got where's our controller? That looks centered to me. Yeah, see, that's the idea right there. That really preserves the symmetry of everything. Because it would look really weird if it was just completely, like, entirely off to the side, which is what it would have to be on the outside if we didn't have. So right now it just looks like that from the outside, which is wrong, of course. But if you actually stand outside, then it loads the other one. And you'll be none the wiser, unless you're watching this stream. Haha. Yeah, that looks... Oh, the curtain doesn't move, though. I'll just put another curtain in and group it with it. Yeah. So we'll do this is grouped with... whichever one has to load. Let me think about that. So let's get, one of them's a reverse zone. He's like, I'm mostly interested in C#. I have no schooling of it, but it's such a critical thing to understand, at least if you want to understand game logic in your Unity game. Yeah, definitely, for sure. If you're going to be working in Unity, like quote-unquote JavaScript, which is actually, I liked when they called it Unity script, because it's not JavaScript, it's different, is dead now. They're trying to phase it out of the system slowly. There are still a few JavaScripts sitting around in this game. Like, the player controller actually is still that JavaScript one. It works. I think. One of these things is still. So the FPS input controller, this old footstep script that I wrote is also in JavaScript for some reason. Probably because I got some code from someone that was in JavaScript and so wrote the whole thing in JavaScript. But like, yeah, like that's not, like, it's not really an option anymore. Hopefully we'll finish the Horologist Legacy before they phase that out so that I can just sort of keep using those scripts. But it is a pain to make the two interface with each other. Like, JavaScript and C# do not like each other. At least in Unity. And, yeah, rip in peace, Unity script. But, and then there was Boo, which is entirely phased out now. If you go to create C# script. Actually, they removed JavaScript from the create script as well. But even since like a year or two ago, maybe even more, you couldn't create a Boo script either. It still works, but it won't let you make a new one in here. Okay, what was I going to test? So okay, the curtains, right? So I had to figure out the reverse zone is the one that has, what is this? This is the one that has the inside ones, so we'll take these and put them in here. And then we'll copy those two and shift them over for the outside view. Yeah. And then we'll make those load only here. And if I got that totally backwards, I can fix it too. Our stream thing still says that we're trying to fix occlusion culling, but we figured that out, I think.
Well, you could
What?
I mean, you could update it.
I could update it.
Really?
Technically, we're still, we still haven't filled in the whole thing that, like... Whee! We haven't put... Did you emailed me the new ones, right?
Well, I did. This time.
Okay. Excellent. I will go do that. Also, it's funny that... I should just inform you guys. The skybox, when the controller renders it, is like nighttime, which is just how we, like, have had it in the past. But for all the previous levels, it's been nighttime. This one is not. Well, I guess technically not all of the previous levels, but a lot of them. This won't actually be nighttime. We just haven't switched out the skybox for that yet.
Have a good daytime skybox?
Yeah, we have some good daytime skyboxes. Okay, so we did that, and you emailed me the new pieces for all the bathrooms, so I will put those in. I think right now. If I didn't already do that, which I'm pretty sure I didn't. I did not. Okay. And hopefully you didn't send me a bunch of colliders. But I don't think you did.
I couldn't possibly do it twice, right?
No, nothing bad ever happens twice, Jordan. Of course not. Perfect. We'll bake occlusion culling again and test these things out and see if they don't work this time. Let me delete those old walls. Alright. Okay. Occlusion culling. Let me turn these off. Bake. Deploy. And now we wait for a second. I'm gonna put water in this cup. I'll be right back. Not gonna lie, it makes game development a little more interesting just having like someone to talk to in the stream and stuff. Like that's pretty cool. And just you're accomplishing two things at the same time, which is great. Okay. Did it finish baking? Yes. Right? Yay. Yeah, I don't know why, but that is definitely the fix to that. So at least we know that. It's really strange that it only happens in select cases, too. Alright, where are the bathrooms that I just pulled in here? There's another one down here. Looks good. Very good. He says, I would like to live stream my game in development, but my 1 megabit a second upload speed says otherwise. Yeah, we had problems with our speeds yesterday because we were trying to push too high of a... Apparently I didn't reactivate those things. We were trying to push too high of a bit rate, and it was not good.
I don't think it was your speed, though.
I don't think it was... Like, my actual internet's pretty fast, though, yeah. I am really thankful to live in a place that just has fast internet, and, like, also, I have parents that, like, buy fast internet, which I really appreciate, because I don't know if... You know, we definitely couldn't do stuff like this, for sure.
I feel like everyone around here just has fast internet.
Generally speaking, I think people in this area have pretty fast internet.
Like, I've talked to people across the states in
Yes.
the California, and they all have basic. I'm like, how do you even survive?
Yeah.
In this day and age.
Yeah, alright. We fixed all the stuff. There's at least one other thing I can think of that I need to chunk manage because it runs into itself or whatever. And besides that, I don't think there's anything else to do on a, like, optimizations related things. And when that happens, we'll end the stream because, well, my parents are going to want me to come eat with them. And they're going to be at a restaurant at that point. And and we'll be done with optimizations for the day. Or actually, optimizations entirely until it comes back to lighting. And then we'll do more optimizations for that.
That's the next step, sort of.
Yes. So, let me see. What am I still... What is still clipping into other things? I feel like there was a floor here that was totally messing up. Besides the extremely obvious roof that's been taken care of. Well, I definitely see that down here. Actually, a lot of that. Yeah, all these rooms.
Get out of there.
All of those things. Little bottoms of vases and crap. I'm gonna have to manage this whole room out. Which is doable. I felt like I needed to make this ceiling disappear when you were under it, though, because I felt like it was coming through before. I don't see it now. Maybe this is in the way. Well, whatever.
Originally, that ceiling didn't have that problem where stuff would poke through. I just, after I had made the room upstairs, I found this, off the textures, whatever website that we use.
Right.
And that would look cool right here. I raised it up sort of to fit with it, to look a little better. And it had the side effect where it looked good, but it also kind of poked through the room upstairs, which can be taken care of, but it can also be a little annoying.
Let's see. What was I doing this? What is this room called? What do I call that room, Jordan? The one with, like, that has the closet in it and all the boxes.
I mean, the room itself, not the closet.
Just the room itself. What is it called?
Post-cafe nap time room?
Post-cafe nap time room. How do you spell cafe? Cafe nap time.
I have no idea. I mean, it's not really like a room. Like you got like your standard living room and dining room. That's just a whatever room. Like.
Excellent.
The like 7th living room in the house. I have no idea.
And I'll just make it so if you're down here anywhere, it just will sort of unload. Which I'm pretty sure is fine. Unless it's a problem because of something over here, which could be the case. Not if that roof's in the way.
Did we like determine like that isn't a problem and it's okay?
Yeah, because I pulled it out of, like, whenever I bake occlusion culling, I pull it out of there. Okay, as
We
long
were
as that works.
thinking that it would be better just to not fix it, because fixing it would require adding a little more geometry to it.
Yeah.
Obviously more geometry.
Yeah, it's alright. It's a little annoying, and it's not as efficient during runtime because it's not fully, like, baked into the occlusion culling. But, it's okay. It's a workable solution. It's probably not ideal, though.
I think at first we were thinking
If it's chunk managed out properly, then it kind of also isn't a big deal, really.
I think that at first we were thinking it would be ideal to do this, but it seems as though that's not the
It
case.
seems it's not exactly ideal, yeah.
So So moving forward, then we would...
Yeah, I mean, it's not the sort of thing where we would want to go back and, like, do it, you know, but, let's just go ahead and grab everything in this room so it just chunk manages out. You don't save a lot, according to our tests from earlier today, by doing all this, but you might save, like, 1 frame per second or something. Unless the occlusion culling doesn't like it, in which case we're saving more than that. I think. Something like that.
Oopsies.
What?
Its little legs might be different pieces. Just, I'm not sure.
I didn't even grab. Yeah, I missed the.
Are the little legs of the radio different?
Yeah.
Okay. They don't need to be. They are for some reason. I miss little things like that sometimes.
It's not even like a big deal, just because really I just want to chunk manage out the stuff that touches the floor, but I mean, why not just grab some other stuff while I'm at it, because you won't be able to see that either. Might as well not load it, I guess. Doesn't really take that long to do anyway. Oh boy, Jordan, you're at 10% power.
No?
And by that I mean my iPhone is at 10% power.
Oh. I was like, I plugged mine in.
What, you thought I was like reading your power somehow?
I was really
Like on your
confused.
phone?
I thought you... I don't know. I was really confused.
That's
I thought you were trying to, like, say that you heard my phone make the sound. And, like, that's not how that works.
It's not even how it works, no. Jordan, if a box says no handle, then how did it get there in the first place?
Well, it's gotta be handled to get
By
there.
breaking the rules, that's how.
Listen, it's a real sign that goes on boxes.
But, like, why? Oh, there's a dumbass one in this box. I forgot about that.
The average person isn't supposed to touch it. Only the, like, authorized toucher.
The authorized handle
Well, like, if
guy.
if it's your job to handle it, then you gotta handle it.
Yeah,
But, like, the average
breaking the
pleb
rules.
isn't supposed to go fondling it, because it might break it.
Yeah, there's a dumbass one in that box. But only his face. Like, for those of you that don't know, can I officially say that it's just the first 3D model that you ever made?
Yeah,
It's basically, it's probably not the first. It's got to be very close to the first 3D model Jordan ever made. It's just this really ridiculous looking thing that has a hilarious face, and he's called Dumbass One, and we like to put him all over the place. So you'll see him turn up from time to time. We kind of want to have him like appear very subtly in a lot of the games that we shall make, but, like, for the most part, like, you see him all the time, like, when I'm working in the editor, like, his face goes on a lot of things, but, like, when the actual game comes out, he doesn't go on very much of anything. Like, we want to keep it subtle, just a subtle Easter egg type of thing. I love when that happens and I get completely flung out of where I was going. What is that?
What's what?
Oh, nothing. Everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
That one's gonna be weird, because the door comes through a little bit. So that means when I actually come through and probably replace the door is what I will inevitably do, then I'm gonna have to add that back into the chunk.
Oh. On the bright side, I think that I sort of fixed the spiral staircase. Maybe.
Oh my, there is so much stuff here. How did I not get all this? Is it just hiding? Oh, yeah, I guess so.
What's this?
What even? Is that even... That's not even, like... That's just coming through the floor, like, straight up. I think we have a floor that's in the wrong spot. Like, we have an extra floor here. But it only...
Let me delete the extra floor. There's an extra floor.
We're gonna have to delete that extra floor. Yeah.
He said something in the chat.
He's like, well, maybe we could do some kind of collab. Not sure how that'd work, but maybe I could do something that would be beneficial to your game. PM me on Discord if interested. I mean... You know, we've thought about having people, like, work on parts of the game before. It would be, like, better if, you know, someone that actually has had experience would be the one helping, but I'm not sure what we would have you do, you know? Also, how many team members does our Unity collab allow? Because we're already at 2, and I think it allows, what, like 3 or something?
I think so. I mean, promotion is always nice to, like, promote each other's games.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll, like, check each other's games out for sure.
There's always that.
There is definitely always that.
Did he ever send anything in the Discord about his... Because I think he said that his isn't published, but he's working on something.
Yeah, definitely, throw, like, if you have, like, anything, like, related to your game to show, like, definitely put it in the Discord in the game dev section, and we'll check that out. He's like, working with other people online is hard, especially if they're random. Yeah, I've tried to work with people on the internet before on projects, and it's just sort of like, especially because you don't, like, actually know them, and you don't know what like their schedule is or what time zone they're even in and stuff like that. Which, I mean, is all stuff that you can figure out, but, like, I don't know. Sometimes, yeah, it's not as reliable, I guess, if you don't, like, actually know the person. I mean, me and Jordan work kind of over the internet most of the time, but, like, we also live, like, 15 minutes apart. And, like, frequently go to each other's houses and stuff. And, yeah.
Yes, we work from home.
Indeed. There's all these tiny little things that come through the ceiling. Oh, that's the door, I forgot. I'll go ahead and just include it for now. so many tiny things. I didn't get this chair. Oh boy. Or this. Or anything. I didn't get anything.
Again, like the problem with things coming through the ceiling wasn't originally a problem.
Huh?
Like last minute, I was like, oh, this would look cool here, and I decided to edit the geometry of the ceiling. It was originally flat.
Yeah.
I didn't go through, but
I see. But yeah, no, I really do actually like having that ceiling though when, you know, there isn't stuff coming through it. It actually looks really good.
I like the way it looks too, but it had the unforeseen effect of certain things coming through the ceiling since it was not originally made to look like that, and I would have had to move things around.
Yeah. So he says, working online or working with others online as a project is insane. It can be difficult. It can work, but it's difficult as hell. The amount of people I've worked with on certain projects, then one guy doesn't cough up some assets, keeps the game at a halt. Yeah. So that's definitely one of the things that is really nice about, like, working with Jordan, like, because we're, like, you know, in on this, like, 100%, and we know that because we know each other, and, like, so, you know, it's not like we're gonna stop making the Horologist Legacy tomorrow, which is the reason it's gotten to the phase that it is. I think that, that looks like everything from this stupid room. So we'll throw that in the chunk. I'm gonna have to do that whole save selection thing again, which I just love so much. It is actually really nice, not gonna lie.
Someone sent me a photo. I shall take that in a later time.
Great. I don't have an outlet to plug the phone into right now. I think I'm gonna put you on a wireless charger.
See, that's why a few months ago, I just like, I'm gonna get an extension cord, and I'm gonna put my phone charger in it, so...
Yeah, I'm gonna do that for sure, too. Or at least I keep saying I will, and then I kind of don't.
So, I can charge my phone at my desk.
Yes.
While on the phone, if need be.
I don't know where my wireless charger is. I think it's in here.
Ooh, this is becoming problematic.
Well, that's not it. I don't know where it ran off to. I could unplug my mouse, but I feel like I kind of need that. I could plug you into the wall way the heck over here. You know what? I can actually unplug my keyboard, not my computer keyboard, the other kind of keyboard.
Oh!
And plug you in over here.
That's smart thinking.
There we go. All right. Phone isn't facing, like the mic is, or the speakers aren't facing towards the my mic anymore, but you're a little closer to the mic, so maybe that'll work out. Physically move the mic a little closer. There we go. It's like sitting on a blanket right now, so that all the keyboard clacks don't sound like the whole world is exploding. Okay, so that's a chunk. Maybe I'll turn off that mesh renderer, because that's just silly.
Keyboard pitter patters come in through.
I mean, like a little bit, but it's not like. So he says, assuming your ages, I feel like people our age or have grown up on video games have a similar drive to make games. Do you believe that this is the case? For some people like us, I'm starting to see it more. Assuming like your ages, I feel like people our age have grown up on video games have a similar drive to make games. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people... I have heard a lot of people say I want to make games. Like, for sure. It's a matter of whether they ever actually, like, go and do it. Like, you need to... I think, especially when, like, you're a little younger, like 90s kids is what he said. Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I was born in 1998, so if you want to consider that a 90s kids, then... Yeah, I feel like, so, like, me and Jordan both expressed kind of a desire to make games.
I certainly have been playing games for...
Forever, yeah.
Forever.
Yeah, I've been playing games as long as I've been alive, for sure. And just, like, we expressed a desire to make games at a very young age, both of us. And actually, we even knew we wanted to make games, like, together at a young age. I guess we didn't know if we were ever actually going to do that, but we were thinking about it from even, like in 5th grade and stuff. Probably 4th even. And, and honestly, I mean, you don't have to start that early, but generally, yeah. He's like, me too. I don't think you have to start that early, but, like, generally, I feel like if you want to make a truly good game, to kind of prove yourself, and, like, you actually want to, like, pour enough time in to, like, make a good game, then you kind of have to start at a somewhat young age. And again, the concept for this game started 5 years ago, and we were terrible at everything back then, but we've refined both our skills and, like, what the game is so much at this point that it doesn't even resemble what we were working on back then, even, like, remotely. It's a completely different game multiple times over, honestly, because it has been.
And just story as well.
Yeah, everything for sure has changed. I don't think there's anything that really hasn't changed except that one core mechanic. Besides that, everything is different. And I think that's been successfully chunk managed. I don't see... There's a little something there. Yeah, for sure. And just, there's so much time when you're younger, too, to be able to actually dedicate to these sort of things that I don't feel like... Like, if you're an adult and you, like... and you just want to, like, oh, I want to make a game. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing that says you can't do that, for sure. But, like... the likelihood that you're going to have enough, like, time to be able to put in to make it, like, a really, like, a competitive product is kind of low. unless you somehow have the time to dedicate to it or can get like crowdfunding, that can definitely work.
It takes time, obviously, to
Yeah,
just
a
learn.
lot.
And then once you've learned, it takes time to make whatever you're trying to make. And so that's, I think, why if you start learning at a younger age, it can be beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
And that you don't have to worry about maybe working a job and making your game on the side
At the same time.
but also learning how to make it and doing all these adult things where, I mean, we're at that point now, but, you know, we started learning how to at enough age that we didn't really have to worry about anything else at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So now we can develop the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I still have things to worry about, for sure. I mean, like, I'm starting up college again on Tuesday, and that's gonna suck. I mean, it's gonna be... I'm going to college for game development, so, I mean... That's pretty interesting, but a lot of it is stuff I've already taught myself over the years, and just, yeah, and of course it's a lot of work, like anything else, whereas a lot of the time I feel like I should be spending, like, actually working on the game, but that's what my parents were very insistent about. They're like, you have to go to college, and it's just like, okay. Trying to think, what else is there that I haven't thought about? Is there anything that still has to be, like, that, like, does some weird trick that I have to manage out? I don't remember.
I can't think of anything.
I wonder if, you know, maybe I need to make it so that this thing flip-flops. Do what I did before, where it was, I don't think this floor is a problem from here. I don't believe. It looks like it was at one point. You know what it is? It's that other floor. Ah. Yes, it was the additional floor that came in from nowhere. Maybe when we imported the new walls.
Yeah.
He's like, time is one of the most valuable variables that makes a game, at least the game you're driving for. At least a game you're driving for. Yeah, I don't think people realize just how important time is in these things. At least when you first start out. Like, I don't think you tend to realize that. And as you start to build it, you figure out very quickly, like, oh wow, like, yeah, time is huge. Huge. Let me make this a reverse zone and then put this in it.
Yeah.
And then he
If you're looking to get
says...
a job in that industry, I would imagine showing something that you've made would be beneficial.
Yeah. He said, I'm investing as much time as possible to make my game, and then when it's finished, it would make a great portfolio piece for my employers. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. I think what I've kind of heard about, like, if you want to get, like, hired as a game developer, not just working as, like, an indie, or even working as an indie, but, like, working for someone for pay, is, actually making games is, like, one of the big things they look for. Like, even, like, going to college for game development, I'm kind of doing that because my parents are like, go to college. But, if I wanted to be doing something for the sake of... Honestly, doing what I'm already doing is what would be good if I wanted to work. I want to work independently, but if I was trying to get into, like, a game development studio or something, I probably would still be doing the same thing that I'm doing now, just because I think employers really like to see, like, actual, like, games that you've not necessarily made entirely, but, like, worked on and like similar roles. because it's really a craft in and of itself that's kind of almost separate from the sum of its parts. So like you can be a programmer, but it doesn't mean you're a game developer, like programmer. Like those are different things for sure. When your game is done and you're out of college, the employers from studios will want to see your own work. Yeah, definitely. I think this is right now, probably. Because it works up
Anything else? I think I've got this spiral staircase done.
You did the spiral staircase thing, and then...
That was like the main thing I remembered needed. I think it'll work now. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that there should be enough room to pass under it. It's prior to the character's head is sort of bonked up of it and gets stuck.
Yes.
But I believe it's okay
So
now.
many tiny little things that poke through that ceiling. Or is it not working for some reason?
Do you know of... I'm looking around, but I'm not seeing anything else in the moment.
That's funny, because I felt like I was looking right at it just a second ago, and now I don't see it. Where did it go? Oh, it was over there. I don't know what I'm doing. Haha! Oh. Yeah, gotcha. I think I got everything now. That's the other door too. That's another problem. But it's just, I'm gonna have to put them back. Let me...
I think I fixed the front staircase. Well, I basically you saw there was a collider that went all the way around, but it looked kind of like the back collider didn't go out far enough.
Right.
So your head, or well, the top of the capsule, hit the collider for the part you walk on before you hit the edge, and so you kind of shot up. And so I think I
into
pulled it out.
space. You kind of shot up completely out of the map and into oblivion.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
I pulled it out a little bit, and I think it's enough now, but...
Right, and it goes up more too. So I think
Well,
that's
what
fine.
do you want? You want it to come out farther and also, like, have, like, a little scoop where it, like, blocks your head from touching the top, or what?
No, I don't know. If it comes out farther, it's probably fine. He says, I feel like the degree would yield pointless if your game is doing great. Of course, the degree would be a cherry on top, but it's not. I don't feel like it's necessary. Imagine the time you invested in college classes rather than the time invested on work in a game. Yeah. Yeah, I still want to be self-employed, so I want to... I'm a little bit optimistic about going to game development college just to make sure, like, hey, am I really learning all the things that I need to be learning on my own? So far, the answer to that question has been yes, over and over. But, you know, and I'm also, you know, hoping maybe I'll meet some people there, possibly, that might be of use. But again, there's the same problem that, like, me and Jordan have worked together for so long and we make, like, such a great team. It's a little weird to just sort of bring someone on, but that's a possibility that I'm open to. It means you have to split the profit in more ways, which kind of sucks. But if it makes the game come out, like, so much faster that you make more profit anyway by making games faster, then that might, you know, that's not necessarily a bad deal. So that's definitely a possibility. And I don't know. I do like going to college, and I mean, I kind of like having that stability of just having a degree at all. After I get this, it's an associate's degree. I will go on to probably do it like at like a programming degree, and that's all just things to fall back on in case like making games doesn't work out, which is a very real possibility that I think everyone has to be kind of for real about.
I think both of our goals are to be self-employed, so to speak.
Yeah.
In both games to see if that works out.
Mm-hmm. Do I have to like? Oops. Have to like reactivate this or something?
Anyway, I don't know. I can't find anything else that's incorrect and needs to be fixed in the image.
Maybe I did it during play mode.
Other than those two staircases, which I did fix today. I could send them both to you.
Sure. I'll probably do that, and then I'll probably put those in. So what was it? Just the two staircases you said?
I have sort of redone the spiral staircases to hopefully work,
Okay.
and I've also sort of extended the collider for the front staircases.
Extended the collider.
Those are the things I've changed recently.
Okay.
I've looked for other things but I can't find anything else that's not working.
You'll have to, do you mean the spiral staircases in the library?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because originally you bonked your head on the top.
Yes.
But
There's also not a collider for that tiny little staircase because it's like so steep that you probably just didn't know what to do with it. That's like at the top of the library.
Oh. Interesting.
Yeah.
A collider for it. Is it not in there?
I don't see one. I mean, I walked through it like the other day.
Ah.
He says, yeah, being self-employed on a game is another desire that a lot of people have. I myself would rather an indie studio of only myself and maybe some close friends and not have to worry about corporate confinements, for sure. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely how I feel. I'm the type of person that I really want to have the level of control over the actual product, too, that, like, someone isn't over the top of me explaining, like, oh, this is the kind of game you need to make. Because then I feel like it turns into work, where it's just like, oh, you have this game to make. And like this, I want to make games, not produce games. That's a really bad way of saying that. But like I want to creatively produce games as opposed to just the act of making a game, just in general, you know. So I mean that's kind of how I feel about that, and that's I think why I want to be. Me and Jordan both want to be independent on these things.
We don't have like a studio. Our studios are sort of our own houses.
Yes, Colin Jordan Studios is consists of my bedroom and I guess Jordan's bedroom. Those are the studios. I have this whiteboard in my room, and at the top of the whiteboard it says Colin Jordan Studios official world headquarters. Because it is. He said, we're seeing the age of microtransactions starting to integrate into games that generate real revenue. Do you believe that these could be a pathway for indie games like you to work? Is it viable? There are other sources of income as well. Yeah,
I've never been a fan of paying microtransactions.
I kind of don't like microtransactions, yeah.
I've bought DLC a couple times for a game.
He says, are you selling your game for a price or is it free to play with microtransactions? We're selling it for a price.
That's cool. Our goal is to sell it on...
Yeah. I mean, right now the version that you can play is like the demo. It's like the first level of the game, and that's free. But yeah, the game itself we're aiming to sell for some unannounced price that we're thinking about. It won't be $60, I don't think, or anything like that,
No,
because I don't think it like is long enough for that.
it's not quite AAA quality.
And it's not necessarily, yeah, exactly AAA quality in every way.
But yeah, I mean, as the game gets closer to being finished, a price range is going to get narrowed down.
Right. Okay, so
But the goal is to sell it
what was
on
I doing? You
PC platforms, at least.
you sent me the thing, or did you?
Oh, well, you said that there was that other collider, and I was waiting to see if you would find something else.
Oh,
It seems as if that's everything, because I have looked myself
no, I think that's it.
extensively, and I can't find anything.
I think that's probably the last thing we'll do for today, unless something else optimization related popped up. You know what? This hedge. Gosh, it's always just these little things that are just like, oh, hi, like, damn it. Yeah, I should make it so this hedge disappears while you're inside. All right, chunk managing the hedge. Here we go. Let's see how fast I can do this.
I feel like those could look better, but I don't know what to do to them.
I don't know either. Do you spell hedge Hedge? No one's ever gonna read it, but I just have to. Hedgehog.
Yes.
Hedge. Hedge. Yes. Oh, but earlier he asked, like, are microtransactions like a viable thing for like indies to do?
I think it kind of depends on.
Depends on the situation, I guess.
I mean, if it fits with the game, maybe. I don't think microtransactions would fit into
Our game, really. Yeah, like
I sort of are designed around having microtransactions.
yeah. So like our game is designed to be bought and then played, which is a model I like a lot more. But it's not necessarily to say that microtransactions aren't a valid approach, especially because I like the idea that it is like free to play. I don't like when there's like the whole Battlefront thing where the game is not free to play, but then there are microtransactions. Like
I also don't like
that's kind of deceptive.
the win aspect those big publishers are going for.
The what?
Activision and EA are sort of moving towards a pay-in sort of thing with their microtransactions and loot boxes.
Yeah.
That I'm not really a fan of. I mean, if there's like a game where there's only cosmetics and skins and stuff where you can pay a small amount of money to get something like that. Some people like that.
Cosmetics especially are usually not too bad.
I personally don't care about spending my money for looking different in the game. Some people like it and are willing to pay that, and if I think that's better than a pay-to-win kind of game.
Yeah. Like, I think maybe what Overwatch does is not too bad. I can't really... I mean, from how I understand Overwatch works, I don't own Overwatch. So he says, I feel like you have to have a worthy game to sell with a price tag, otherwise expect a few sales and not recommended reviews. Yeah, for sure. I've seen people fail on Steam and other platforms for making mediocre content. That's definitely a problem with just it being so easy now to upload to places like Steam that, yeah, like there's this kind of this sea of stuff that isn't necessarily good. And, yeah, it's definitely, that can definitely be an issue. And then, and he says, I'm not talking about, like, pay-to-play crap. I'm talking about cosmetics. Pay-to-win will always be shamed. Yes. And it should be. Like, yeah, and honestly, I feel like that's what Battlefront did, and it's not free-to-play to begin with, which is just like, come on. Like, you know, because they're already, like, it's not, like, maybe if it was like a paid game, but then, well, now Occlusion Culling is throwing a fit, but, like, we'll rebake that.
We're trying to make our game quality enough that we can feel comfortable putting a price tag on it.
Yeah. Which is part of the reason it's been in development for so long, is because I think, like, there was a point at which it was like, oh, like, we can physically sell this game, but then they're you know, we really didn't want, the more we, like, worked with it and played around with it and stuff, the more it was like, you know, there was a lot further that we could bring it to, and we've really, even since we decided, wow, we might be able to physically sell this, we've gone from that to, like, redesigning the game yet again, and being like, oh wow, like, this was something I might even buy, you know? Like, it's getting to a point where it's actually, like, competitive and, like, I think will be worth the money to actually play when it's finished, at least. Which is something I'm proud of, and I think that's how all games should be, probably, in an ideal world.
Once it reaches the point where it's enough to have a price tag, then marketing is also a good, or is a big, important thing to do. Is
yes.
Not necessarily having to spend money marketing, but there are things that indie developers can and should do
yes,
to help
for sure.
raise awareness for their game. Because
I think a lot of indies just sort of don't try to raise awareness for their game, and it's really kind of disappointing.
Know your game exists, they can't even buy it.
Yeah. And people are like, why have nobody buying my game? And it's like, well, you have to market it, you know, period. Even if it's not in, like, I mean, there are just a lot of things that you can do that are, like, not insanely difficult, that, like, I mean, that's why we're streaming right now, you know, is because we want to market the game and, like, find customers. And I was gonna say this earlier today, but, like, I got cut off. We went somewhere else with it. I don't know. I like the idea of doing the streams like this specifically because, you know, it's nice to have, you know, people come through and, like, see that, oh, like, I'm developing a game and stuff, but that's different from, like, the fact that, like, literally you're talking with the dev, like, directly, and I feel like that's a much better connection than just, like, oh, wow, you see my game, which I feel like, yeah, would be really, really cool.
Yeah, and we also,
which it has been so far,
made a Twitter account sort of to try other ways to get people to discover our game. Mostly, like, tweeting about your game and all that good stuff doesn't really cost money unless you want to do ads or whatever.
Right.
But that's I think a good way for indie developers to try to get their game out there on a budget of $0.
Yeah.
And then trying to get your game, once it's published and released, onto some of, like, the smaller game review websites or whatever you want to call it, where they sort of, like, do press stuff. I mean, it would be hard for, like, a small developer to get an article written about them on the bigger sites, but there are some
smaller sites that'll definitely pick you up.
Sites that will be more willing to
just make that one not static. I don't know why it's doing that.
And that can be good to get more awareness.
Yes.
There are hopefully, in theory, more sales.
Yes. Which empowers you to make more games. He's like, you're basically marketing the game right now? Yeah, for sure. And then that could be the future for game developers like Twitch livestream game devs. Imagine Gabe Newell of like a Steam live stream. Everyone would watch and ask when Half-Life 3 is coming out. Yes. Yes, they would. In fact, I think they would ask about Half-Life 3 shall we say, passionately that no one's gonna be able to read the chat. But like, yeah, that would be fun. And it's just, I love that direct interaction. That's kind of just marketing 101. It's like, haha, like, you're talking to a game developer, which is a big deal, and like you're actually talking to the people that are making the product, which normally is not. Like, that's worth something. There might come a day when that's so common that you just expect it, but like right now, it's the easy way to go like above and beyond. Is just to be like one-on-one with your audience. We are kind of starting to expect that a little more, depending on who you are. Like, if you're a YouTuber, you expect a lot of one-on-one. Between the audience. Not necessarily one-on-one, but like a lot of like audience interaction. Or that ingenious Chinese guy who makes the Zelda games, I would... He's Japanese, actually. I think, anyway. I'm assuming it's Shigeru Miyamoto, you mean? I would watch him live stream while he creates Breath of the Wild game map. Like, I mean, he does, obviously, he's more of, like, Shigeru Miyamoto is more of, like, a creative director. But, like, just to hear him on a live stream in general would be really cool. Unfortunately, he speaks Japanese, so it's kind of difficult. I've seen him try to speak English before. He's not very good at it. But yeah, no, like, just, but seeing just the people that work on it in general would be interesting. And just, yeah. So, what else do I have to do? I think I might have kind of, like, be out of things to do today, possibly. I keep just sort of floating around.
Well, there's always new things.
I mean, there's always more stuff to do. Did you email me the stuff?
Did I?
Yeah,
Yes, I
yeah.
did.
Alright, so I'll put those in, and then I think we're probably gonna call it a day after that. What do you think?
Sure. I also, I guess, need to put in those things for that other level into the Unity scene. Because I think that's pretty much done.
The, spoilers. Let me mute my mic for a second. Alright. So, yeah. What? Oh. Those are, like, books. Wait. Those are books. Jordan,
What?
what's going on?
What do? What
I don't know. Oh, this looks right. I don't know why it's... maybe I guess I just haven't pushed in the collab since the last... like, the last stream.
Oh.
Yeah. And then I guess we'll just make all of these... Well, not all of them. What are these? That's the actual staircase. And then most of these are colliders, but not all of them. Those are colliders, so we'll
Oh dear.
mesh collider of itself, turn off the mesh renderer, and then hopefully that'll stick out more and it won't let you bump your head up through it, which is terrible. And then This is also a...
Those colliders are out more now?
That...
There is already a collider there, though.
That wedge is probably too sharp.
Oh.
See, that's the problem. I'll walk up there and find out. But,
I know we raised slope limit or whatever.
The what?
Slope limit thingy or whatever. I know we
The
raised
slope
that.
limit. Yeah, we raised the slope limit, but, it might still be too sharp. We might have to come up with some kind of silly solution.
I could pull it closer to the balcony.
I'm gonna try it and see if it can go up or not. I'm gonna guess that it can't, though. I think I have a way that I can fix it if I have to. Okay. Actually, I can walk up it. It's kind of slow, but, like... I think it's just because of just the angle. Which you would almost kind of expect, I feel like, because they're, like, 3, like, large steps. That looks okay, actually. Oops. I just turned on the Amazon Echo. It was the word actually that it thought was, let me mute it so I don't set it off. It was the word actually that it somehow thought was like Alexa. It was somewhere in there. Which happens a lot. It's almost always that word too. It's always the word actually. Oh, this is weird. I don't think we have the right collider on here. Do you want me to just take the same spiral oh, you have a collider in it, I see.
Yeah. There is a new collider. I'm also not 100% sure it'll work. I mean, it still might bonk your head on the top, but we'll see.
Possibly.
There is, I believe, more space than there used to be.
Yeah, there is. I can definitely tell already.
I just don't know if it's enough. Because I don't know how tall the...
It doesn't even look too bad, actually. So we'll turn that off. And then put the mesh collider on there. Keep retyping it for some reason. So I think we're about, like, once I finish this, which I think I'm, like, done, I just have to find that other mesh collider. I think we're gonna end the stream. So if anyone in the chat has any more questions or anything you'd like to say, definitely say it now. So we can answer your questions. Or if you just want to talk about something for a second. I think I just have to find that other collider.
You can also follow this account.
Oh yes, you can also follow us on here if you haven't already.
Perhaps on our Twitter account. We tweet sometimes.
Yeah, we're on Twitter as well. I should have put that in the thing below. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do it, but I should have. It's in there somewhere. It's gonna be one of them. Where the heck is it? What? How is it not in there? Did I mess something up? It's in that group right there. What? What?
What did you break? What happened?
I'm trying to find that collider. Like, I keep, like, selecting it in, like, a group, but I can't find, like, the actual thing itself. I think I'm about to find it. There it is. And that's both of them, too, so that's really nice. I got it. Alright, well, did I do everything? I think we're done for today.
Good. Do they work? Did you try walking up it?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Let me try it real quick. And then, if it
does
works, then we'll be done. Oop, I guess we don't have colliders for all the railings up here yet.
Oopsies. Oh, do they not have colliders?
Or we also don't have them going around the spiral thing yet.
There is not.
Oh. So you don't hit your head on the ceiling anymore, but you still hit your head, like if you look in the stream, you still hit your head on the top of the thing. So like you'll have to make that like come up a little steeper. He says, "Hey, you guys have a good day. Thank you. You too, for sure. It's been awesome being able to actually like talk to someone while we game dev. This is like one of the first times we've done this, and it's pretty cool. We'll probably keep doing it. We'll solve that problem. Yeah. And I guess we'll end it here for now. Yeah, have a good day, guys. And definitely, if you haven't followed already, do so. I believe Tristan already did. And see you guys hopefully in the next one. Bye.